Yay. Okay. Hello. Welcome back to our Friday night live stream. I am so excited to see you all. We're going to jump right in because I have a beautiful and very special guest, Ellie. As you can see, she's right here at Nourishment Redacted. So we're going to start off this live stream with sharing her story, her carnivore journey. And then we're all going to take questions. Specifically, Ellie. I do want to spotlight Ellie tonight. So if you are listening to her story during the live or in the playback and you have follow-ups, questions, extra curious things that you'd love to know, just drop it in the live chat. We'll keep an eye and we will make sure to raise it to Ellie to answer. Okay, so before I get to Ellie, let me first have Lindy and Todd introduce themselves real quick for our new live stream viewers. Todd, introduce yourself.
Howdy. I am Todd, 2-year carnivore, down 310 pounds roughly. And I do host some talks in the SBG gang and host the Carnivore Cure. Nice to see y'all.
Yeah, Lindy here, Limitless Lindy. I've lost around 500 pounds. I've been carnivore 3 years. And yeah, I'm part of the community. I'm part of the furniture now. I don't think Bella can kick me out. Love it too much. So thank you.
Todd and Lindy are the best. They are linked down below. You guys have to check them out. They also have weekly live streams on their channels. So before we get to Ellie, one last thing, please drop in the live chat, guys, where you all are located. Where's everyone hopping on from? Okay. So while everybody shares that, let me first open up with Ellie, a question for you. How did you stumble across the carnivore diet?
Absolutely. It's just such an honor to be a part of not only such an amazing community, but also tonight. So, and I'm blurry again, sorry about that. So I first learned about carnivore. I think a lot of people find it through keto. So that's where I began. I feel like keto is like the gateway drug. Once you learn keto, you kind of go into carnivore. So who I was before I am today, I used to be 240 pounds, incredibly depressed to the point where I ended up dropping out of college. I was like 7 or 2 classes away from graduating with my BA, and I had really bad panic attacks. My thighs were so big that when I walked, I used to have holes forming in between my thighs, and I would have boils, and I actually had a lot of irregular periods. Sometimes my menstrual cycle would be anywhere from like up to 100 days. And so it was quite confusing when I was going to have one or not. I suspect I must have had PCOS. And I was just miserable as a person. I think there was a 5-year period where I did not leave my house. And I was just ashamed of who I was. And I swear if I didn't have my husband, I would not, be here today, because he always kept encouraging me and loving me no matter what size I was, because he loved me for my soul. And so one day I was just, I always struggled with wanting to lose weight, yo-yo dieting, calorie restriction. I even tried Nutrisystem at one point. Do you guys remember that? And it was always the same thing. I would do really well tracking, and then I get stressed out and I would begin to emotionally eat. And every single emotion that I had was tied to food. And it was like one of the only things that truly made me feel safe and feel like happy. But it would be, a short moment. But the thing was, I was always trying to lose weight. Always, what can I do? What can I do? And I found the keto diet, and it was surprising me that I could eat burger patties and bacon and butter, which was, fat, which is so demonized. I could actually lose weight. And so I did that for about 6 months, and I saw a drastic change in my life. I lost about 50 pounds in those 6 months, and my menstrual cycle became normal. My confidence boosted. Like I was in a size 18 pants, and I got down to about a size 14 just in that moment, and an extra large shirt down to like a large. And I was just feeling so good. Like I said, my menstrual cycle became normal. I felt so happy, and I wanted to have a baby with my husband. And I was able to get pregnant, and it was such a beautiful, wonderful thing. And I went to the doctor, the obstetrician, and I told her, she asked me, well, what are you eating? And I said, oh, I'm eating a great diet. I'm eating a ketogenic diet. And she said, you're going to harm your baby if you eat this way. And instantly, like, my core cracked. And I was just like, I'm going to harm my baby. Oh my gosh, I have to stop. And so I stopped eating ketogenically, and the depression came back, and all of these, like, you know, I feel like the darkness enveloped me again. And then I had my child, and I was struggling. I had no energy anymore, and I couldn't function. And I kept trying to go back into the ketogenic diet, and I just couldn't. It kept failing. I had my son, another beautiful, healthy baby boy, kept failing. And then I found the Carnivore Diet from Dr. Jordan Peterson. And from him, I found Carrie from Homestead How, and his 30-day video just like sparked something in me where I was like, I have to, it's like, and this is the sad part, because I just didn't understand the diets, you know, a ketogenic diet in general. I thought, I don't have a baby in me anymore. If I'm going to harm somebody, I'm going to harm myself, because I was just so desperate to lose weight. But little did I know that this was going to be the most abundant, healthy version of myself that I could ever imagine. And within the first week of being on a carnivore diet, this is so funny to say, but also was horrifying. I slipped on some water in my kitchen and dislocated my knee, which was a previous injury I had from, like, because I have such bad knees. I'm like kind of hypermobile, and I dislocated my knee back when I was a younger person, like middle school. I don't know. I'm nervous. Sorry. And so that first month I was bedridden, and I was supposed to have surgery, and I ate the Lion Diet. My husband cooked all my meals for me. I laid in bed. I couldn't move. And my inflammation, you know, the doctor saw my knee, how big it had gotten, and they thought I was going to have blood clots. I had no blood clots at all. And ended up just a couple of months later, I ended up avoiding surgery and able to walk. And, you know, it's like I felt this fire in me that I wanted to share my story, share how my rosacea had gotten so much better. My chronic constipation, where I used to only go like once or twice a month, and it was due to laxatives. Like, that was the only way I could go. And it would be like 4 to 6 hour sessions where I'm on the toilet, I'm off the toilet, and I'm in so much pain. I probably should have been in the hospital many times. I always suffered with gas and constipation. I was known for clogging all the toilets. It's so embarrassing. And now I'm regular, and I'm going like once or twice a week. And I know this is carnivore. We're not afraid to talk about poop, man. Everything's healthy and everything's normal. Thank you.
Wow.
And I've lost almost 70 pounds now. I'm down, and my body composition, it's incredible. The first year on carnivore, thank you. The first year on carnivore, you would think, oh, you only lost 30 pounds, right? But I lost 30 inches off my entire body. Like, to me, that's crazy.
It is.
And, you know, so now I'm at a size 10, and I feel great in my clothes. I have tons of energy, and I feel like I'm a better mother. I feel like because of carnivore, like, I can live a life with purpose, knowing that my story might help somebody. And so that's kind of why I'm on YouTube now. I feed my kids a meat-based diet. Like, I believe in Ken Berry's, you know, proper human diet spectrum. You know, if you're anywhere from like low carb to carnivore, then you're in the golden zone. So we're like towards the carnivore side of it. And my kids are thriving. My son started eating steak and eggs as his first meal at 6 months old. And we got my daughter off of a highly processed diet around 3 years old. And now, you know, my daughter's 4.5. My son is 2.5. And they're like, if anybody who meets them, they're like the smartest, most active, healthiest children. And they think I feed them organic or something. Like, they don't understand. I'm like, it's the meat. And then they're like, I don't know. So my husband, who has ulcerative colitis, he's almost died 4 times from this thing. Like, his story is crazy too. And this is the only way that he's able to gain muscle while he's like working out, and he's just thriving on it too. So we're like a carnivore family. And so that's me in a nutshell.
I love it. Your story is so inspiring because not only are you carnivore, your family is carnivore. So we can really deep dive into this. It's one of the most popular questions that we get on these live streams is what about kids? What about babies, pregnancies? So for anyone who wants to know more about these details, ask Ellie, ask away, put it in the live chat. We've already got a bunch collecting here, but I have a follow-up. Are you still on the lion diet right now?
No, I eat a variety.
What
I
do you
eat as many. Okay, for this morning, I had some bacon and some mozzarella. Then later on, I had burger patties and eggs with lots of butter. And then I made something we like to call strippies, where we buy a chuck roast and I cut it really, really thin and I just kind of fry it. It's so delicious. And so I eat seafood, I eat cheese, I eat butter, I eat beef, lamb. A lamb leg is one of my favorite cuts of meat. Picanha, Linus Lifestyle, if you know, you know. And so yeah, I eat a variety and I don't feel deprived. That was one thing when I did like a lot of yo-yo dieting. I felt like I always was like restricting. And especially since I'm doing priming and SBG, I feel like I'm just nourished, like the name.
Love it. Awesome. Todd, Lindy, did you guys want to follow up with anything first for Ellie?
Well, what do you think your biggest aha moment on carnivore's been so far?
I think so. Okay, we're gonna get a little deep, guys. Sorry, this is where I go. Since I suffered with so much depression and the panic attacks, they were just debilitating. Like I would fall to my knees and be in a fetal position, just screaming. Now I feel so confident, and it's like when I got off keto, it's like all that came back like instantly. And it's like obviously there was something in the food. I wasn't getting enough fat, I wasn't getting enough protein, and I was eating so much processed food, And so the aha moment is like, oh my gosh, I can function and I'm not on any medication. I used to be on like antidepressant medication and all that stuff, and I'm just medication free. And so that's pretty much like one of the biggest aha moments for me.
That's awesome. And also, I was just thinking you are new to the SBG gang because you want a free membership here. And have you enjoyed that so far? And what's different about it for carnivore for you?
Yeah, last year I had one of like the hardest years of my life. Just real quick, I had a miscarriage. I lost my best friend. We had this scary hurricane and just a whole bunch of stuff. And I felt like I fell off the wagon essentially. And, it's like, I needed something. I needed something to help me get back. And I feel like community is the thing that really, 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 really helps me. And I was doing carnivore kind of, like on my own. I had my community, the Redactivores on my channel, and I have the Linus Lifestyle, Lions and Lionesses also. But there's something about going every day and seeing familiar faces and seeing their faces. We were talking about this before we went live. The Zoom calls are really, really heartwarming and inspiring, and you get to know people and you don't feel so isolated. And so that's one thing that I really, really enjoy about it.
Oh my gosh. Love you, Ellie. That's so sweet. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Anyone here watching the live stream who happens to be an SBG as well, let us know in the live chat. And Lindy, I want to give you an opportunity to ask any follow-ups.
Oh, well, that was going to be my question, actually, Todd. So you kind of beat me to that. But
Oh, no.
I know for me, I never thought I would join a community. I've always been the type to do something on my own. So to actually reach out and to join a community and then ask for coaching was a really big stepping out of my comfort zone. So did you find that, like when you won the membership, did you think you would enjoy it as much? And do you think it's, interested to hear what your thoughts are on that. Do you still think you can do it alone, or you're happy to be in the community?
Well, this is the problem. I think I'm hooked. It's like, how am I It's like when you have people who are like, they start to recognize you and they know your story and they cheer you on. Like, you guys are always on there. I'm like, do you guys sleep? I wonder sometimes because of how engaging you are and how often you're on. I had no idea how many like meetings there are a day, at least one, sometimes three. And I just love it. I feel like I have to stay because it would feel like weird now. I connected with so many people. So,
Aw. Well, I love seeing your face and hearing your valuable insight in the meetings. So we're very grateful for another family member, you, Ellie. So how about we hop into the questions that have been submitted? I do see all the SPG members in here. Hello, everyone. So happy you guys are here. Love you guys. Okay, thank you, Todd. This is from Target Prime Rib, who's also in SBG. His name's Thomas. Thomas says, I wanted to make sure I was the first on the screen. You did it. So sweet. Thank you, Thomas. All right, Jimmy. Hi, welcome. I saw SBG's recently on organ meats. Wow, thank you for watching the video. Literally just posted it. What about occasional liverwurst and Irish blood puddings? Haggis? I don't know what haggis is, but I'm guessing it has to do with organs. So the question is, what about those foods occasionally? Absolutely fine. Last week on the live stream, we chatted with Todd about liverwurst, and we did make a conclusion that a lot of liverwursts sold in grocery stores have questionable ingredients. For example, sugars, maybe additives. So I would just suggest that you always check the ingredients, just like anything else that's processed, right? Always check the ingredients. Make sure there's no sugar in the liverwurst. You can also make it at home. And my general recommendation for organs per week, no more than 2 ounces of liver specifically twice a week. So 4 ounces a week is generally okay. Ellie, do you eat organs, and what are your thoughts on eating liver?
I have tried to eat liver once, and I honestly feel like it was too early on in my carnivore journey. I have heard that as you continue to only eat meat and you really don't eat any more plants, obviously your taste buds change and your body has different needs. And so I'm willing to try it if someone can make it well for me.
For sure. Todd, what are your thoughts? Do you eat organs currently?
Very little. I eat cod livers a couple times a week now, and then on occasion I'll add some liver as a supplement. But I take it like in little frozen capsules, and I just swallow them. I put little pieces of liver in the freezer, and I swallow them because I do not like that metallic taste that liver has in it. I can't stand that, and so
That's
I
gross.
drink it like and luckily. When you freeze things, it kills about 60% of your taste buds, the intensity of it. So when you freeze it and you swallow it like little liver pills, being that you're only trying to get about an ounce, maybe once or twice a week, you can just swallow them cold and you don't taste it, So that's how I do it. But that's pretty much it. And I find that's plenty.
That is such a genius tip, because that's exactly how I forced myself to eat liver when I wanted to experiment if it helped my acne and my skin healing. And so this was like early on in my carnivore journey. I heard all of the great benefits of eating organs, and I decided to do it Todd's way, which is I cut it into basically pill-sized tiny little pieces, froze it up, and then I would just break it off and swallow it whole with coffee to hide it even better, So that is actually probably the most effective way to eat organs if you hate the taste of it and you want to experiment if it helps you. Is it necessary? I talked about this in my newest video. Absolutely not. I think all 4 of us can agree that you do not have to force yourself to eat liver to be a healthy carnivore. Carnivore diet is with just meat is perfectly fine. More than enough. Okay.
999% better than the standard American diet. So.
Well said. Exactly. All right. Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Before I read yours, I do want to hear in the comments, let me know if you genuinely love the flavor and taste of liver. And I don't mean drowning it in sauces, like just liver on its own. Who here loves the taste of liver? I would love to know. Okay. Kevin, thoughts on beef suet? It is so hard to get it from my local butchers. Okay. It's actually quite easy everywhere that I've traveled to. I wonder how you're approaching this because it's really just a simple phone call. Maybe do like a quick Google search, butcher shops near me. And on your phone, it usually is attached with phone numbers. I would just go ahead and call every single shop that you can find near you and call them ahead and be like, hey, you have any beef fat trimmings left? Usually the terms beef fat trimmings is a little bit more well received than beef suet. Any tips, Ellie, on this one?
I mostly buy my meat from Costco, so you can just go up to the meat department and tap on that little window and just be like, "Hey, do you guys have this?" And they'll tell you whether
Really?
they have it. Yeah, you can
Oh, I didn't
totally
know
ask.
that.
Yeah, they're obviously, Costco prides themselves on really good customer service, and I've never met anybody that's like, rude
Nice.
or anything like that. So you definitely can bother them. They want you to.
Yeah, and
Oh,
the suet and the trimmings, sometimes the chain stores can get a little bit wonky on whether they want to get rid of that because they have corporate policies on certain things of it not being sanitary or whatever, which is nonsense when it comes to beef suet. But you have a better chance at hitting on a smaller standalone butcher. They usually have that. And if that doesn't work, also you can look up game processors because wild game processors have a lot of suet on hand because they use it to mix with like venison and elk and all that stuff to add fat to it. That's their number one go-to. So you can also check out game processing companies.
My
fantastic.
butcher said that they can't sell it because of health reasons, but if we buy it for our dog or if I'm making tallow or something with it like a soap, then they'll sell it to me that way. But I can't say I'm buying it for myself to eat. They can't sell it. I don't know.
That's
Sell it
funny.
to your dog.
Yeah. One more tip for Kevin to help is let's say you actually tried all of the tips that we shared and you're still having a difficult time finding beef suet. By the way, suet is raw beef fat. So suet versus tallow, suet is raw, tallow is cooked. Okay, that's the only difference. My suggestion is find some tallow. Tallow, you can literally order it on Amazon. It'll be shipped to you in a few days or less. You can go to any grocery store and you can find glass jars of beef tallow. You can also make it at home. Whatever fatty meat, like the fatty steak that you cook, if you cook it and you collect that leftover liquid fat, that is tallow. Put it in a glass jar, collect that, put it in the fridge. You'll see it slowly turn into a white solid fat. And there you go. That's tallow. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful. Thanks, Kevin. All right. VSP. This is for you, Ellie. Any thoughts on carnivore helping schizoaffective bipolar type?
I personally have not had any experience with this, and I don't think I've interviewed anybody with bipolar, but I can say that I had some symptoms of depersonalization disorder, which is, basically disassociating. And I found that eating carnivore and keto has helped that tremendously. I've not had any symptoms of that at all. So I know that it's so beneficial for mental illnesses. So I would suggest, doing as much research as you can. And what's the worst thing that can happen? It's like you get healthier. So I definitely think it's worth a try for sure.
Yeah. Todd, do you know or have you interviewed anyone who maybe helped their schizo?
I don't know. I don't know the difference between schizoaffected bipolar or if there's different types of bipolar. I'm not sure, but I know that my sister is bipolar, and she said that it all seemed to have gone away on carnivore because she's about I guess about 11 months carnivore now. She's down about 75 pounds, and she said she doesn't have issues with it anymore. And then I do know that Carrie Mann, I believe, had mentioned that he had a guest on that was bipolar, that went away. So I have heard that a few times. Yeah.
Okay. Very inspiring. Wow. I didn't know that about your sister. That's so awesome. Is she younger or older?
She's 10 years older than me. I'm the youngest. So
Oh yeah, you're the baby. That's right.
I'm the baby, the giant baby.
Nice. All right. Liu Hui. Hello, welcome. My cousin who is 15 and has hyperthyroidism. Can carnivore diet help? Should she cut out dairy and egg? Okay, so we have tons of success stories collecting by the day. And I've been in this carnivore community, which is the best community in the world, for 6 years. And the best thing about this community is the willingness of the members to share their progress, their success, what is changing, what is not working within the community online. So you'll quickly see once you immerse yourself here just how many stories of success there are on both hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism for both men and women. So there is a lot of hope for your cousin who was 15. And should she cut out dairy and egg, I honestly just would start her off with a very uh, easy and laid back carnivore diet because we don't really want to restrict major food groups that are so helpful. Like eggs are one of the best foods to eat on a carnivore diet, dairy as well. I'll pass this off to Ellie if you wanted to chime in on this one.
Absolutely. We actually just recently interviewed Allie Johnson. She had Graves' disease. And so she spoke about her experience with hyperthyroidism, and she's thriving.
And do you know if she cut out eggs or had to cut out dairy at all?
I don't think so. I think she eats, if I remember correctly, I think she eats a variety.
That's good. Yeah. So hopefully you firstly can convince your cousin to go carnivore because that's usually the hardest part with family members, right? So once she goes carnivore, tell her to come to these live streams. It's really helpful to just connect with members in the live chat as well. Good luck. Hi, Caleb. Okay, so this is Caleb's Carnivore Quest. Quick shout out to him. He just started a YouTube channel. Go follow him at Caleb's Carnivore Quest. He is 16. So we definitely got to support this channel. Hi, Bella. What are the best carnivore foods to eat for skin? And I'm hoping to have my first long form video released in a day or two. Yay, can't wait. Good luck. So best foods for skin. Let's go around the table, actually, if any foods stood out to improving all of your skin. For me, have to think about this because anything carnivore honestly will help with skin, maybe except for cheese. Cheese is just a questionable ingredient for those trying to heal cystic acne and eczema and psoriasis specifically, because if you're eating pasteurized cheese, I know I talk about this all the time, but for new viewers here, pasteurized cheese just really does tend to inflame the skin. It tends to make it itchier, more red, drier. For some people, it even causes pimples, like just legit breakouts when you eat too much or if you eat it at all. So I would just be careful with dairy products. I don't count butter as a problematic dairy product because it is fat. And when you're eating plenty of fat, you are hydrating your skin. So if I were to choose a food that's great for skin, it is any animal fat, just pure animal fat. Eat it the way that your body can tolerate it. Let's say you just started carnivore and you're getting those loose stools. Obviously, do not eat it in the rendered form. If you want to up the fats, the easiest way to digest it is raw beef fat, which is raw suet, or sticks of cold butter. So keep it in the fridge, eat a bite whenever you have a sugar craving, eat it with your cooked meat meals. I promise you, your skin is going to glow if you do that every day. How about you, Ellie?
Absolutely. Congratulations, Caleb. I'm so glad that you're starting your YouTube channel. And I'm actually going to go subscribe right after this and make sure that I follow you because I love hearing stories about children and teenagers and families. That's just so exciting. For me, I had perioral dermatitis and I had keratosis pilaris, all these long, hard words, and also rosacea. And for me personally, it took a long time because I was so constipated for so many years. Ooh, I don't want to think about it. I think that, they're tied. Like your gut is tied to your skin. And I feel like you definitely want to be patient. And also, switching your moisturizer for tallow, and just
Mhm.
really cleaning up your products that you use. I really don't use anything except like Dove sensitive bar soap and and tallow. That's pretty much it for
Nice.
me. But it took time for sure. And I still have some redness because I'm blushing because I'm so shy. But it definitely has gotten better, and just patience for sure. I hope that helps.
Love it. Great tips, Ellie. Todd,
Thank
any
you.
tips?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was called, but I had dry skin around my ears, my nose, around my eyebrows forever, and it would just flake off and turn red and get inflamed. And so I don't know, some kind of skin thing going on. And that all cured up pretty quick on carnivore. But what I did notice is when I got away from dairy, when I got away from omega-6s, and when I got away from egg whites, things got a lot better. And my skin
Very
just kept
specific.
getting better. Yeah.
Can you explain the egg white part?
Yeah, I don't know. I seem to, when I stopped eating egg whites and I started having just egg yolks, for whatever reason, egg whites inflame me a little bit. And so it was just causing a little bit of skin inflammation. Don't know why, but I don't, and the reason I think I was noticing it, because I noticed that I can eat like 6 to 12 eggs with whites in it, and it's not too bad. But I was eating, for testosterone, I was eating 54 a day, and so when you have 36, 54 egg whites, you're going to notice the damage of the egg whites. So I had to get rid of the egg whites and just do the yolks, and that helped the inflammation go down. So I think it was just a case of inflammation, from the egg whites.
I mean, I hear that with even those wanting to heal autoimmune as well, where they're just naturally sensitive to egg whites. And then when they cut out the egg whites, they don't get flare-ups. So I think it's a whole trend with egg whites just being a tiny bit more inflammatory than the yolk itself. So for those who are feeling like eggs are inflaming them, causing indigestion, always try cutting out the whites. I always try to say that before cutting out the whole egg altogether, because you can still enjoy the yolk, enjoy all of the wonderful recipes that need yolks, and still be able to go carnivore or stay carnivore. Yeah.
For sure.
Lindy? Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really had many skin issues. It's a bit of dry skin, really, and I just put tallow on there. And I did have an oxalate dump a little while ago with my legs, really red, itchy skin, and putting tallow, straight tallow on my legs really soothed that. So it's not about eating it for me, but the tallow does help soothe it if you do have complications or dry skin or something. So,
such a good tip. Yeah. Who here puts tallow or animal fat on their skin? Let us know in the comments, in the chat. Yeah.
You remember that tallow?
Yeah.
You remember that tallow they gave us in Wyoming at the counter of the hotel?
Oh, yeah. I still have it.
Yeah. I did not know that was a skin product. I thought that was a tiny test. Yeah. And I ended up cooking with it, and I was like, this tastes like lavender crap on my meat. What is going on? Because I just saw it said tallow.
Oh no.
I didn't know it was lavender or whatever tallow skin product. So watch out for that. Not all tallow's for cooking with.
Could you imagine if hotels, instead of putting chocolate on the pillow, put like a little bit of tallow? That would be so fun. But be careful, Todd.
Yeah, don't.
Wait, that's how you know that Todd doesn't know anything about skincare. Because like if you just look at that jar, you would have known, oh, it's skincare, it's lotion, and he just eats it.
It said tallow, and I'm like, this tallow smells funny, but whatever. And then it made my eggs taste like freaking lavender. I'm like, this isn't like, are you supposed to eat lavender? I don't know. Yeah, I look closer. I'm like, oh, I was supposed to put that on skin, not in the frying pan. I went the wrong way with that. I was about to give them a way bad review.
Oh my God, Todd. Hilarious. All right, let's keep going. Hi, Foxy Joe. Welcome. Thank you so much. Can you give me an example of what I can cook with tallow? That can apply to literally any carnivore food, really. You can cook anything with tallow. Yeah.
Yeah, you can even just eat tallow. You can eat tallow by itself. You can freeze tallow in little bars. You can whip tallow and freeze it. You can I found out that vinegar-based hot sauces I can have, because it seems to have like kind of a fermentation process or something that takes the oxalates out of it. So I use Tabasco and mix it with whipped tallow. I make a dip out of it that I dip my steaks in.
Oh, yum. That is awesome. Yeah, Lindy, go ahead.
Yeah, no, same. I love the hot sauce idea with the tallow and sardines. Like I've been having a lot of sardines recently, and I sort of do it in a saucepan with the tallow, hot sauce, and it takes away that sardine flavor. And I'm really enjoying that. For me to actually enjoy sardines is amazing. So, but it tastes good.
Yeah,
delicious.
Awesome.
Yum. Ellie, do you cook with tallow as a cooking oil, or do you have a different preferred animal fat?
My favorite is bacon grease because there's just plentiful. It's plentiful. You cook the bacon, you save it. That's my preferred. But if I have tallow, I'll absolutely use it. I might be cooking and then just like rub some on my face while big old greasy oily mess. But yeah, tallow is really great too. Like obviously if you're doing the Lion diet, obviously you want to make sure you're getting lots of fat, because I tried doing Lion diet a second time and I did not eat enough fat because I wasn't getting the right cuts of meat. I was very early on. And so I definitely think that tallow, having it on hand is so, so important. So enjoy.
Yes. Yeah, that's actually a great tip as well. The bacon fat. Don't throw away your bacon fat for the new carnivores here. Collect it just like the rendered beef fat. So the melted beef fat turns to tallow when you collect it and put it in the fridge. The drippings of your bacon fat turns to lard. That's correct, right? Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Correct. 100%.
Great. So collect your animal fats because they make fantastic cooking oils and lotions as well.
They do.
Yes. Hi, Joyce. I take 10 mg of lisinopril, but my blood pressure is going too low. I have to call into doc, but afraid to stop cold turkey. Any advice? So none of us here are doctors, and most of these nights that we do the live streams, we do have Dr. Phil, who's a retired MD. So this, I personally feel like Dr. Phil could take it easily, but he might join a little bit later. We can shelf this question and come back to it. Yeah, perfect.
Absolutely.
Thanks. All right, Lydia, welcome. Good morning. Ooh, where are you, Lydia? That it's morning where you are. I've been on the carnivore for 2 years and I wanted to try the Lion diet this month. I've been getting severe headaches every day and night since January 1st this year. There she is. I'm in Cape Town, South Africa. Okay, so let's see. What's the question? Is she trying to ask if Lion diet will help with severe headaches? Ellie, what do you think?
Yeah, it definitely seems like it. But congratulations on the 2 years. That's incredible. I'm sure you're seeing lots of progress. But yeah, if you're definitely having severe headaches, I wonder if it has to do with hydration. Sometimes I feel like, especially in these colder months, I'm not drinking enough water. And so that would be the first thing I would think of.
Good point. Actually, headaches from dehydration happen very easily. And I know this because I have personal experience. I'm so bad with drinking water, even before carnivore, even on a vegan diet, definitely on a standard American diet. And when you get busy, when you get, carried away with life, if you're not carrying a bottle of water or having a cup of water when you work for hours on end, you really don't think about drinking water, especially when you're carnivore. And a lot of carnivores like to tout, you don't need to follow the bogus advice of drinking a liter of water a day. It just doesn't matter because you drink to thirst, you're good. So, but Ellie makes a good point because you could actually be dehydrated. So make sure you're drinking enough, Lydia. And if you're getting severe headaches, even after upping the water, it could be electrolytes. So we like to say salt heavier, just salt more generously. Of course, make sure you're using a high quality salt. Don't do the table salt, please. And see if that helps. More salt. And if that still doesn't help, come back and we'll help you troubleshoot. Okay? Thanks.
For sure.
Hi, Wayne. Welcome. Thank you so much. How did you all break the addiction to carbs? Ooh, I love this topic. I just started dipping my toe into eating carnivore and meat-based this week, and it is tough. Well, firstly, Congratulations, because you started, right? That's what matters. And you are here. I'm always so excited to meet newbies. So welcome, welcome. Let's start with Ellie. How did you break your addiction to carbs?
Oh man, this is a big one, and I feel like everyone has this little rebel inside of them. That's especially when you're addicted, it's always going to want to come out. And so what I say is, instead of that little rebel telling you to, eat carbs, maybe you say like, oh, I'll have a pickle every once in a while, or some like kind of keto food, like one thing, that makes you feel like you're tapping into it. But honestly, consistency and eating the foods that you truly love. Like if you don't like liver, don't eat liver. It's going to make your progress even tougher. Before I started doing carnivore or keto, I loved fettuccine Alfredo. That was like my vice. I loved pasta, right? But an Alfredo sauce made at home could be a wonderful thing that you put on some chicken, or you dip it into a meat of choice. And so that can still satisfy that craving that you had, but you're, obviously making a better choice for yourself. There are tons of recipes that, like Courtney Luna, I have her cookbook and I absolutely love it. Her all-purpose waffles, those things, like if I'm ever like craving bread, which I hardly have any cravings now because I've been really consistent, but sometimes it rears their ugly head. We're all human, and I like to show the good and the bad. And I'm flawed, just like everybody else. And so sometimes I just want a carnivore waffle, and I'll make like a sandwich, and you can either do like high quality cold cuts or maybe egg and bacon, and it'll kind of like help that, the little addiction rebel popping up. So definitely eating food you enjoy. And if you're feeling a little bit of meat aversion, because that could happen if you're early on, then maybe it means that you're not hungry, and you need to take a little bit of a break and then come right back at it when you feel like you can. But know that there's an end road to all of this, that it's like you're doing this because of your mental health or weight loss, or maybe you need more energy so you can take care of an elderly parent. There are so many reasons why we need to have good health. And we all take advantage sometimes, I feel like, of our good health. And so I would put Wayne, I would say to yourself, why am I doing this? And eat the most delicious foods that you can, and be grateful for your blessings. And yeah, that's it.
That's like how to get over carbs 101 right there. So
Yeah.
good. Thank you, Ellie.
Thank you.
Lindy, how about you?
Yeah, I definitely had to eat through those cravings. I didn't have an off switch. So if I was hungry, it was always for the bad things. So just having to eat carnivore foods until I got that off switch happening. And it's a constant struggle. I know I've undereaten when I start to think or want other things. So I just have to make sure I'm eating the meat and not anything else. And I don't want to enjoy food anymore. I needed to keep it simple. So seeing all these beautiful recipes, I'm just like, oh, well, I can have, these waffles or carnivore, there's carnivore lasagna. Like, who would have thought? To me, that is deadly, because I'm like, it's carnivore. I can eat as much as I want, and I would go crazy on it. Even if I'm not hungry, I'll just want to eat it. So I just have to keep it very simple, to stick with my steak, eat it, have that off switch turn off, and then go and live my life. I've spent 50 years focused on food all the time, and I just love that food freedom that I have now. So to me, experiences are more important than the food. So I literally just eat to satiate myself and then move on. So yeah, try not to focus too much on the food and enjoy your life. Keep it simple.
And Lindy, every time you talk about your carb addiction and overcoming it, you use the term off switch, which is so genius, because it's something that anybody can hear it and understand what it feels like, or understand that, hey, that's the goal that I wish I could reach, like Lindy, that off switch. Most people in America have no off switch when it comes to eating carbs or non-carbs, right? In general. So Wayne says, interesting idea, not wanting to enjoy eating. I kind of like it. Good, Wayne. Keep us posted, please, because we have these live streams pretty much weekly, and we would love to hear your progress week after week. You're literally on the best track possible to get over your carb addiction. Todd, any final thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a big, that is like, the $1 million question, I guess, is how do you get over the addiction, the disordered eating really is what it ends up being. And man, I can just tell you what I did, how I approached it, and then what I would do different now that I'm 25 months into it. And basically what I did is I started simple, on a few basic principles. One was I started by when I got the information through Gary Taub and Dr. Robert Lustig that our food environment had been changed, right? And that's what was causing 74% of Americans to be obese and overweight and metabolically sick. Then it just made sense to me that I make my own environment, meaning that the closest part around me, I needed to make the path of least resistance to carnivore food rather than the standard American diet food. So I changed my immediate environment to carnivore food. And then I knew that I was not receiving leptin sensitivity anymore, and that I had no leptin satiation hormone, or at least sensitivity to it. But I knew that our other appetite suppressing trigger in our bodies is our stretch marker on our stomach. That's why most people that don't have leptin sensitivity eat until they're full. So I made a deal with myself that when the anxiety was kicking in and the urge to, eat carbs was kicking in and it was really bad, that I just made kind of a manipulative deal with myself that I could have whatever I wanted. But first I had to eat bacon and eggs until I was stuffed, and then wait an hour, and then I could order whatever I wanted. And so I did that over and over again. So I'd hit those stretch markers in my stomach, and it would shut that switch off and quiet the cravings, and I'd live to fight another battle. And that worked really well. And then also I had to keep in mind that these weren't hunger cues that I was suffering with. These were addictive cravings because I was a sugar addict. And these were actually cravings to get a fix. And it was just using hunger as a mechanism to get a carb fix. And so I would just keep that in mind and know that over time, those things would go away if you gave a long enough time. And it did. After 5.5 weeks, it completely went away. And I haven't had a carb craving in 24 months. So it definitely does work. But basically, eat through the craving, try to block out the noise with the food, and make the path of least resistance to carnivore food, and just focus that. And then what I would have done different, that is what I did. What I would have done different is I would have found a carnivore community much sooner, because when you're doing that and everybody on the outside is telling you you're crazy and it's never going to work and it's, too restrictive and all that nonsense, it would have been way handier if I would have been in a good carnivore community like SBG. And I don't get paid to say that. It's what I really believe. So I would have done that different for sure.
Would you say you're still leptin resistant now, 24 months into carnivore?
No, not at all. I have full leptin sensitivity back. It's you can fix your hormones for sure.
I love that.
In fact,
I love that you talked about leptin.
Honestly, I think the first time in my entire life that I've ever felt leptin sensitivity was on carnivore. When it happened, it was confusing. I was like, what is this? Same with a high metabolism. Never had either one of those before. Yep.
That was one of my aha moments, since you asked Ellie, was when I could eat my plate of meat and literally leave leftover meat without feeling like I have to eat it all and more. To feel that and to be able to leave the food on your plate is a wonderful feeling for those who used to be addicted to food. It really is. And I hope everyone can feel it, including Wayne.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Let's see.
Hey, Judy, welcome. If I have chronic hyperinsulinemia, should I eat the healthy salts at all? 4 months in and strong, but no results yet. Should we wait for Phil to come, or Ellie, did you want to? Okay.
Over my head, for sure. I'm tapping out.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know.
No worries. Yeah. Brittany, welcome. Hi, I really struggle with carnivore over time. Are there long-term drawbacks? Long-term drawbacks, as in concerns that it could harm your health? No. That's my answer there. Long-term drawbacks besides health concerns. I mean, the only long-term drawback for me personally, when it comes to carnivore diet, and I'm 6 years in, is social life. Social life absolutely takes a bit of a hit. Because when you want to go out with well, I'm 28, right? So people my age are still partying hard. They're still drinking, they're still doing just questionable things. And so when we get invited out to like friends' house parties or gatherings or celebrations, there's always going to be those foods around and beverages. And so for me personally, what I've noticed is when I don't partake in drinking alcohol or eating sugar and junk and chips at those gatherings, I will just naturally get questions, curiosity. It's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if they're coming with genuine curiosity, but it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a thing that you have to deal with every single day. But that's the only drawback, in my opinion. Todd, can you think of any?
Other than I keep having to buy new clothes because I have to get new sizes, and
Oh, that's a
have
wonderful drawback.
right, and I get bored because I'm more efficient and I get too much stuff done, and I don't know. I have so much energy anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really think there's a drawback, and even the social life drawback. I mean, if you're in that field, you might think it's a drawback, but honestly, if you're drinking less and partying less and doing things that are more efficient and that are more productive, that's not really a drawback in the long run.
Not at all. That's a
Yeah.
bonus.
So, I mean, I'm 40, but I didn't do anything good with my party days. So, I mean, it was all stupid. So, I don't think you're not missing out on anything if you do less of that, and you're just going to get further ahead if you get that stuff out of your life and do things more productively. I think those things are good. And the social life stuff too, it's only the reason why it's a struggle is because non-carnivores are actually addicts. I don't mean that just to be hyperbolic or something. The reason why everybody, the reason why I could be 700 pounds and nobody said anything about my health, and then I went carnivore, lost 300 pounds, and people are like, I'm worried about your health, is because my results are challenging their food addiction. And it bugs them, right? I am a threat because if I'm doing something right with this crazy diet, it's making them go, do I have to change eating the things that I love? It's really just because they're addicts. And so it's kind of funny. We're all hanging out with a bunch of junkies.
And yeah, it's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ellie, how about you? Did you want to chime in?
I think those were great answers. And just to add to it, I feel like sometimes when you have your life under control and you are truly feeling like the best version of yourself, sometimes others will feel uncomfortable with that. And they will look at you and say like, oh, and it kind of becomes like a mirror and showing things that maybe they don't want to think about themselves, kind of touching on what Todd was saying about, like the addiction and stuff, like, oh, well, you're not eating mac and cheese, so I feel guilty and I feel insulted that you're not eating mac and cheese. It can kind of get like that. So, I think that there are no drawbacks in you making yourself a priority and investing in yourself. But I just hope and pray that everyone surrounds themselves with the best people possible that will lift them up in times, in hard times. And I don't really struggle too much, not even budget wise. I mean, everyone says meat is so expensive, but when you cut out all the other stuff, like you really do save a lot of money. So that's what I think.
Absolutely.
Love it. Thanks, guys. Let's keep going. Oh, wait. Question for everyone. I was going to ask this when Todd was talking about like judging. So what is the craziest thing that somebody has said to you when they found out that you're carnivore? When they found out you only eat meat? Have you been told anything crazy, hilarious, insane? Share what you've been told when you came out of the carnivore closet. Put it in the live chat. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
All righty. Hi, Greg. Bella, I know you say to eat butter. So here's a two-part question. Okay. How does butter help with weight loss? And I make my own butter. Is that just as good? Wow. If you make your own butter, that's the best That is absolutely the best. And I'm jealous. Really, what it takes is just for me to Google how to make butter. I should seriously know how to make butter by
It's
now.
really
But
easy.
So simple.
I heard. I just need to do it. But good for you, Greg. That's definitely better and very, very good. How does butter help with weight loss? My simplified answer is butter helps with weight loss because it cancels out sugar cravings. Done. Like if you're not eating sugar and you're no longer slipping up at night, right? Where you have those late night munchies and you are literally eating carnivore every day, you will lose weight. If you're not falling off track with enough time and consistency, you will lose weight. And so that's why I tout butter as literally the best food you can eat to cancel the sugar cravings, because butter is wrapped up like a bar, like a chocolate bar. You can put it in your fridge and take a bite. It is palatable. It is more palatable than beef tallow. A lot of people complain that tallow tastes gross and it's so flavorless. That's why I always say butter. So that's my simplified answer. Eat the butter to cancel out the cravings to lose weight.
That's awesome.
Thanks. Doug, good to see you. Anyone having skin issues? My face and hands are very... Okay, so we did touch on this earlier. All four of us agree that putting tallow on the skin is very helpful if you're having the topical dryness. That really soothes literally instantaneously, feels like sandpaper. Yeah, with cold weather, our skin tends to just naturally be drier, so put tallow on the skin. Yeah, put tallow, eat more fat. That's our tips.
There we go. Oh, I see how
Hi,
it is.
Mr.
I'm getting
Good.
ganged up on here.
Oh, hold on. What's this? For the ladies, so when you are... Okay, yes, that's right. That's right. When you're seeing body recomposition, is it common to see/feel the area getting itchy or
Oh,
even
now
a
I get
little
it. Never mind. I
uncomfortable?
should have read that whole thing. You guys can have
Wait.
this one for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Is this the butter boob effect? Wait. I need clarification, Mrs.
Yeah,
Hooligan. Yeah. Because are you saying that the chest area, the boobs area, like, is it getting itchier, or are you saying a different part? Because I'm getting a little confused with this question. It might be two different things. Yeah, let's wait for her. And for those who are new here, right, and they have no idea what this butter boob effect thing is, it is basically where women go carnivore. They start eating nutrient-dense foods. You would not believe how many foods that are sold in grocery stores these days. Okay, got it. I'll get to that. Are not nutrient-dense. It is basically empty calories. If you're already in the carnivore community, you're situated, you already know this. But this is really for new viewers. When women start embracing eating actually nutrient-dense foods like meat, and that's all they eat every single meal every day for months on end, yes, we see our body composition change. The boobs grow bigger, okay? The butt perks up and the waist cinches in. Like, this happens because the hormones are happy. And for a lot of women, they actually stunt their hormonal growth and their just female figure potential because they either go vegan, like myself, right? They stunt the growth. So when they go carnivore again, they're like, oh my gosh, my period is back. Or, oh my gosh, I'm starting to like see differences in my figure. And we even have women, a lot of members in the Steak and Butter Gang, who are 40, 50, 60 plus, and their period comes back. Okay. This is terrifying for a lot of women because they don't want their period to come back, especially if you're like over 50, I guess. But that's just another wonderful sign that the hormones are so happy. Things are resetting and healing. So that's what the butter boob effect is. So, okay. The detail that she said is her breast area is itchy, right? I think you put it up. Okay. So confirming.
Yeah.
No, it should not be like hand in hand with the butter boob effect at all. Like if it's itchy, I wonder if you ate something that just caused some type of skin flare up. Did you recently integrate dairy, Mrs. Hooligan? Did you recently introduce a new food? Skin should not be itchy when you see that effect. Ellie, did you want to chime in?
I definitely can attest to the recomposition. I don't feel like my breasts got bigger, but they definitely went up. So that helps. I'm 35, if everyone doesn't know. And I also have
You look great.
lipedema. And so, oh, thanks. I have lipedema. So I carry a lot of fat around my buttocks and my thighs and my legs. And I've seen so much, to me, it feels like a drastic change as well. So I definitely think that it helps. It helps like everything, which is so beneficial. But yeah, I'm not sure about the itchiness. Sorry. I hope you figure it out.
Well, I also, when you were speaking just now, I thought of, is your chest area getting bigger and therefore your bra is causing some irritation? Like, I'm just trying to figure this out, right? Do you maybe need a new size? Uncomfortable as it does it feel tender? So lots of details that you can potentially share in the chat and we can circle back. Okay. But congrats. That's great.
Mhm.
Hey, Sherry, good to see you. I dropped an instant pot full of pressure cooked ribeye. 2nd to 3rd degree burn is healing. Greatest with roasted bone marrow. It is magical. Wow. I guess she's just sharing a great recipe.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're healing up from the burn too. That's
Yeah.
Oh my
Incredible.
gosh. I've been burned like that before. This was before I found carnivore. I was boiling potatoes, those darn potatoes, and I was straining it into the sink and water went all the way down my leg. I had like 2nd-degree burns. And like it was my whole thigh. And that's like a really long time to heal. So I'm glad that you're healing fast because that is so painful. Ooh.
Yeah.
When
See, Chafee was right. Vegetables are trying to kill us.
Yes, those darn potatoes, man. I'm just glad that my little one wasn't in the kitchen at the time because she was helping. And then I swear that was a God moment. She left and then it happened.
Yeah.
And then my husband came home like a few minutes later and I was like, ah. Yeah, that's rough. I'm so sorry, Sherry. She's so sweet. She's on Nia's live streams a lot. So in the comments. So I know her. Hey.
Hey, love that. Sherry is an active member in the community. Love you, Sherry.
All right.
Hey, Jennifer, welcome. Can this help women who are menopausal? Let's all chime in on this. My answer is, even though I'm not menopausal just yet, I've seen thousands, if not tens of thousands, of women who went through menopause, sailed through, or improved their current menopause symptoms by going carnivore. How about you, Ellie?
The person I think of, because I saw one of her, I don't know what do you kids call it? Reels, shorts, whatever they're called. Dr. Lisa Wiederman, she made one a while ago and she was talking about how she just, like you said, sailed through menopause. And I was like, wow, that's actually a thing. And I think about my mother who, really had a hard time with it, with the hot flashes and all sorts of stuff. And so I thought I was going to be walking through those same paths too, because you tend to look at, your mother. And now I'm hopeful that I won't be able to have that, but definitely it made my period regular. So I can maybe able to get pregnant with my daughter. So or keto did that, but ketogenic diet. And so I think that it must help with menopause. Absolutely.
Lindy, how about you?
Well, I'm 53 and I haven't really noticed anything. I don't have the hot flushes. I'm not moody.
Wow.
My husband still loves me, so I must be doing something right. So whether I have any menopause or whether I'm just breezing through it, I have no idea. Like, do they test for these things? I have no idea. But I haven't experienced what I hear a lot of ladies go through, so I'm going to put it down to carnivore. Like, what else would it be?
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Lindy, may I ask, how long have you been in menopause so far?
Well, I don't know. How do you test that if you are in menopause? Like, I haven't had my period for about 12 years, and that's probably because I was at such a high weight, and I think my period stopped because of the weight gain. I was around 800 pounds, so I still don't have my period back. So I don't know if I am in menopause or whether I'm still healing. Like, I'm a bit of an anomaly there. So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
Mm.
I would imagine because you're 53, you're most likely currently in menopause. And the fact that you have zero symptoms that would show that you have menopause, you don't even know that you're in menopause because you have zero symptoms is so inspiring. Like that's just how women are supposed to experience menopause. You shouldn't even know that you're in it or that it has started. You should still be the vibrant, beautiful woman that you know yourself to be. And that's exactly what Lindy is, right? By the way,
Oh yeah.
Todd, are we still doing the GoFundMe for Lindy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Well, let's
And
shout it out.
absolutely. Yes. So let's see. I'll kick it off with while I'm looking this up. Yeah, I started a GoFundMe. Me and Michael did for Lindy because she never asked for anything and she won't do it herself because she's too awesome. But she needs a skin surgery, skin reduction surgery, and our fine medical systems, including hers in Australia, they will pay for insulin and all that stuff all day long to keep us sick. But once you get healthy and lose 500 plus pounds like Lindy has, they will not cover cutting off the surgery. And Lindy has over 50 pounds of hanging skin that's an absolute health risk and it's absolutely debilitating for quality of life. So we set up a GoFundMe and we're getting very close to the goal. She set up for February 6th to have that surgery. So it's awesome. And so we're all helping her, and you guys have been fantastic. We're 80% of the way to the goal to be able to cover her skin surgery. So if you could go to, even if you can donate anything, any dollar counts. If you could just pass on the word on your social medias and let people know about it and get it into the hands of anybody that might have an extra few dollars to spare, we'd sure appreciate it. We're almost there, and she's gonna be able to get free here and on February 6th. It's going to be incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for that, Todd. Great summary of what this GoFundMe is about. Lindy, can you just share how much weight you've lost total so far?
Yeah, I've lost over 500 pounds. I can't give you an exact figure because my scale just said error for about 6 years. It just error. So I don't know what my total weight was, but yeah, definitely around the 500 mark. Yeah, pounds.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't even fathom how someone can lose 500 pounds, right? But try to imagine that Lindy lost 500 pounds. She probably has a lot of loose skin. And so this absolutely would change her life. And I've met Lindy two times, two times in person, at least two times. And I'm actually going to get to meet her again in a few months because I'll be going to a Carnivore Collective event in Melbourne, which is Lindy's hometown. And I just can't wait to see Lindy because she's going to be like literally the best version of herself. I will literally cry if I think about it too much, but Lindy deserves this and let's make it happen. I just
100%.
checked the link, by the way, Todd, and it's 80%. We're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there. And I can confirm I've only lost 300 pounds and I look like a giant overgrown sugar glider. The skin is real. So absolutely.
God, you look fantastic, Todd. I've met Todd in person. He's so handsome.
Easy. You're going to get all the guys giving me crap. But no, it's definitely a real thing. And Lindy's going to feel so much better with that off there. And it just drives me nuts that you can sit here and be metabolically sick all day long and have diabetes and all the complications that come from that. And the insurance will cover it. And then you get healthy and away, you're no longer a strain on the medical system and insurance anymore, and they won't cover it. It's the craziest thing. It's like the last thing, because literally Lindy will have more complications. See, when you get that big and you have this excess skin, especially when you have lymphedema problems, it's like you're this giant reservoir for fluid to fill up. So you're constantly fighting fluid. When you get that skin removed and it tightens it up, your body doesn't hold this fluid. So me and Lindy can fluctuate 30 pounds in a day, literally in a day of fluid, because there's so much reservoir for the fluid to build up. And it's so ridiculous. And that can cause all sorts of lactic acid problems and inflammation problems and sores, and just it pulls on your frame and your skeleton to a different way, where it causes joint problems, all sorts of stupid things. It throws you off balance. You start walking funny that's hard on your joints to try to carry the weight. So many stupid things. And they're willing to let her go through that and have all the other complications than just to cover the surgery. It boggles my mind about how messed up our medical system is and our insurance is. It's just so stupid. Like, they will not help you get healthy. They want to manage sickness. That's all they want to do. It's crazy.
We all know that by now, and another thing that people realize when they go carnivore is just that they're not supporting us. They don't have our best interest, in their heads. Not at all. It's the opposite, really. So thank you, Todd, for doing this, for starting the GoFundMe for Lindy. And I'm so excited to see you in April, Lindy. Can't wait. It'll be awesome.
22 pounds less of me in April.
Beautiful. You deserve it, Lindy. You really, really do. You've come so far, and I'm also looking forward to seeing the new chapter in your life.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. She's down to 12 days. 12 days.
12 days. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's linked down below, guys. So for those wondering where that link is, it's in the description box. Okay? So
It's
excited.
awesome.
Welcome, LMC Alora. Can butter help hair loss? I might be over fasting and under eating, but I'm trying not to. Well, firstly, good job for even recognizing that you might be over fasting and or under eating, because lots of people typically will glide over those possibilities because they think, oh, I'm carnivore. I'm eating meat every day. Should be fine, right? Not necessarily. In fact, we see under eating as one of the biggest mishaps, and just chronic undereating is easy when you're only eating meat. Why? Because meat is very satiating. You could eat a couple bites. A lot of women eat a couple bites and they're like, man, I'm full. I'm not going to touch it until like end of the day. That's chronic. That's big time undereating. And so when women come to us and say, well, why is my hair falling out now in gobs, and it's not growing back? We always will say, are you under eating? Do you think you can eat an extra meal? So good job on even identifying that. The question with, can butter help hair loss? I wouldn't really say butter is a hair growing food just because it is pure fat. Typically, I would recommend protein rich foods, meat, right? Just steak, anything that has protein in it, that has plenty of protein, is better than pure fat. So I understand that, butter is talked about a lot in the carnivore community as this wonderful healing food. I wouldn't apply it to hair though, just because with hair, you need the protein to grow it back. Ellie, did you ever struggle with hair loss at all?
That's one thing I have not. And I think it plays into the fact that I make sure I eat 3 meals a day, always.
Yeah, good job.
Collagen helps too, just because collagen's a protein that doesn't synthesize into energy. So that means that it's a protein that's a building block. So it goes to 100% into repairing those kinds of tissues. So it does help, but it's a little more efficient. So you can actually take a collagen peptide because that does help because it doesn't break down. It doesn't break down into synthesized protein to energy or to an amino acid. It just goes to building blocks.
Great tip. What collagen do you recommend, Todd?
Oh man, I can see it in my brain. It's a blue and white jug.
The vital something.
Vital Farms. I think it is.
Yeah, something like that. I've seen it sold at Costco, so you guys can get a bulk thing of it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly where I used to get it.
Oh, nice. One thing that's kind of weird is that my hair used to shed, I have a lot of hair, you can see. It used to shed a lot before I did carnivore. I was like a husky, I swear. Little bits of Ellie hair was everywhere, and now not so much. So I wonder if that helps too. It's just the opposite.
Nice. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, you look like you have a beautiful head of hair, very thick, luscious hair. So I'm not surprised you don't struggle with that. Yeah. Keep us posted, LMC.
All right. Let me go back up here.
Awesome. Hey, Joyce. Welcome. We fasted today for 20 to 30 hours. but I started getting mean. Oh, okay. So like grouchy, mean, and I had to eat. Does anyone think my blood sugar dropped? Okay. That's a really cool connection that you made just there. Blood sugar dropping typically does result in feeling grouchy and moody and impatient, irritable. In fact, I can tell when my blood sugar is dropping and I need to eat ASAP when I start feeling a bit impatient. So I would say there's a very, high likelihood that that is exactly what happened. Ellie, any thoughts?
I think there's a classic word that would be used to describe this as hangry. So if you're feeling
Yes,
hangry,
exactly.
eat.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
enjoy your food. I feel like a lot of women are afraid of eating, and I didn't realize how much that was so until I went to the group meetings, and there was just so many women were just like saying, I'm afraid to eat, I'm afraid to eat, I'm afraid of prime.
Mhm.
And it definitely, don't be afraid of food. Food is nourishing and you need it to live, and enjoy it. So don't be
Love that.
don't be hangry. What did they used to say? Like, eat a Snickers, so instead eat some bacon.
Oh, wait. So is that really a saying? Saying like, "Don't be hungry, eat a Snickers."
I
Yeah.
think that wasn't
that
that like
was
a
their-
commercial, right?
Yeah,
Way.
that was their slogan, their commercial slogan.
What a scam!
I know, right?
Yeah, that way you can be not angry for 2 hours and then have to eat another Snickers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
disgusting.
that's how they hook you for
Blah.
life.
For sure. Pretty funny.
Awesome. Okay, this is Carnivores in Neo Show. What are some effective flu and cold helps? I'm not resorting to comfort foods, but feel so poorly. Good job for not falling, back to carbs and comfort foods that are carbs, because there are a lot of comfort foods that are carnivore. So that's really my best tip. And some foods and meals that I make when I'm feeling under the weather or when my husband's feeling under the weather, egg pudding. I just posted the recipe for that one a couple days ago. Egg pudding is basically just steamed egg. And the texture of it is very comforting because it just feels like this warm, nourishing, light pudding. It's literally pudding. And another thing you can make is just chicken soup, broth, meat broth. Those are so good for when you have the flu and the cold. Ellie, when your kids get sick, do you have any mama tips that you like to use?
Yeah, I definitely, my go-to is just to make a chicken soup. So there's obviously the
Good.
one where you can make bone broth and, put it in the slow cooker, and it takes a while. But if you need something really fast, what I like to do is I buy from Costco like a bone broth. Try to find one that has the least amount of vegetables possible. What I like to do though is take chicken legs or chicken thighs, and I'll put them in a big quart pot,
Nice.
and I'll put those in there raw with the broth and just slow cook it for like 2 hours or so. And it's so delicious. Add butter, add salt. You're good to go.
Mhm. Best tip right there. Yeah. Perfect. Hi, Rachel. Welcome. Does anyone have experience with shrinking uterine fibroids? This is for Phil.
That is for Phil. we'll be right back with you.
Sorry.
Yes. I think Phil said he'll join late, right? I don't want to
Yeah.
keep all these viewers
Well,
wait.
he
Okay.
said, so there's like a 40% chance he'll join late. Don't be surprised if he's not here because he's at another engagement. But if we're going long enough and he gets back early enough, then he said he would hop on, and we'll save. We got 3 questions for him as of right now, so we'll save them.
Perfect. Well, Lindy
But
does have to
awesome.
say goodbye. So
Okay.
let's all wish Lindy a beautiful day and thank her. Love you, Lindy.
Thanks.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
joining
having
us
me.
today.
All right. Thank
Always
you.
good to have you, Lindy.
Bye.
See you soon.
But I just wanted to
Awesome.
say too, for everybody that needs those type of specific questions, in the SBG gang, Phil does answer a lot of those questions, and you can email
All the
SBG, and a lot of times Phil will yeah, exactly, will be kind enough to answer those. So definitely, I definitely recommend that
And
because
he's
That's
so
like-
knowledgeable.
Oh my gosh.
He knows everything.
Gem. He is a gem. And I almost don't want to share him too much on the social medias because everybody wants to get in touch with him. They're like, what's Phil's website? What is his email? It's like, nope, he's an SBG exclusive. But no, he's great.
Awesome.
He's great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and the reason why I feel like legitimately he is an SBG exclusive by his own choice, because he came here and he healed metabolic disease with it. And so it's his way of thanking SBG and helping the community. He just is like, I just want to help the SBG community. So Phil's awesome. And he's no joke. I think he's got a master in physiology. He's had his own
he's a genius.
General practitioner, I think, or family doctor practice for like 40 years. He was on like two presidential committees for two different presidents, for Trump and for Obama, I believe. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. He's like, Phil's very soft spoken. He doesn't brag on himself, but I'll brag on him because the guy's way just a huge asset. He's such a blessing to SBG for sure in the community.
Literally, he's so humble. It's wild how humble he is. Like he has so much to like brag about, but he keeps it so low key and under the table that it took me, honestly, and I hate that I have to say this, it took me like a couple months after meeting him to realize the gifts that he has because he's so humble, you know? Sure. And so every single day that I get to hang out with him, I discover something new about him. He's like, he's magical. So wait till you guys meet him.
Yeah, he's awesome. For sure.
Love it. Okay, this is BMAC. Welcome. I've done keto in the past and I lost weight. That's great. But I got constipated and plateaued on weight loss. Okay. Should I jump straight into carnivore or do keto to begin with? Okay, so I'm guessing this person took a break, currently wants to know if he or she should go into keto or just jump into straight carnivore. I would say all three of us would agree that just do carnivore. Like seriously, why even bother with keto? Keto is just not as good as carnivore. Yeah.
No,
true.
It's not.
And I'm going to say this. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just going to say it helped me at first, but once you get off of it and those carb cravings come back, like the healing in carnivore was just like exponential. I call it, I used to call it keto 2.0 because it's just like 2 times better.
Right.
For sure. 100%. And yeah, I was just going to say carnivore for the win for sure. But I still got constipated for about 6 weeks on carnivore, so it could still happen. But that all works itself out for sure.
It was so funny because I was so chronically constipated. So I had, like the typical, like a little bit of diarrhea, and I welcomed it because I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so different. Just being able to go. And then obviously that regulated over time. So I'd say if you're in between two choices, why not try ketovore for a few weeks and then transition into carnivore?
I love it. Agreed. Hey, Annette, is goat cheese better than cheese from a cow? I don't know if it's better. I've heard sensitive carnivores say that they are able to tolerate goat cheese versus cow cheese. I think there's something about goat cheese that's a notch less inflammatory. Any thoughts, Ellie?
I honestly love the taste of goat cheese. I think it's absolutely delicious. And so I would just eat it if you can, if it's available to you, because it's fantastic. It's so salty. I think that's it's just a creamy, salty cheese. It's if you like soft cheeses also. I don't think it's better unless you prefer those kind of tastes and textures, but I love it.
Nice. Todd, have you tried goat cheese?
I have. I do like goat cheese. I like the texture of goat cheese. The taste is good, but I don't know. I really haven't experimented too much with dairy because I know that goat cheeses are better. I know that raw cheeses are better. I just, I don't know. I guess I had enough inflammation and water retention on regular pasteurized cheese that I just kind of wrote off dairy. So I haven't played with it too much since. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, question for everyone in the live chat. Who here has tried goat cheese and what did you think of it? Because I've heard it's a bit funkier and some people can't stand it either. Okay. Hi, Chad. Have you guys had any challenges with the lack of variety? What lack of variety? There's so much variety in carnivore. Really? Maybe you just have not realized the variety just yet. Because did you know that you can have dairy? Because a lot of people, they think carnivore is lion diet. So I hope
Mm.
you don't think, Chad, that carnivore is beef, salt, and water, because it's not. Okay, you don't have to just eat beef, salt, and water or beef, lamb, salt, and water. You can have seafood. You can have all the eggs, all the dairy. You can have all the different types of meat. I never had challenges with lack of variety. Ellie, have you?
You know, I have not. And I think that if you feel like there's a lack of variety, it might be because you're still struggling with some carb addiction, possibly. And so I would just keep eating. And pork rinds, when you grind them up, they become like breadcrumbs. And so you literally can, like, takes like we were talking about sardines earlier. I love taking sardines and a little bit of an egg, maybe some cheese and some pork rinds, and then mush, and then you bake them, and they become like I don't even know what you call it, a meat biscuit. I don't know. They're just delicious.
Oh,
They're absolutely delicious, and my kids are willing to eat them too. So, pork rinds grounded pork rinds can really help if you're missing like a fried food kind of thing.
Oh, yum. That sounds great. How about you, Todd?
I think this question's an issue of perspective, So here's the reality of it. There's only three sources of nutrients out there that we get. We get carbohydrates, we get fat, and we get protein. That's it. That's all the body utilizes, outside of vitamins and minerals. But those are the only three things. And just because you are mistaken variety of the carbohydrates because they have a billion different products, but it's all the same thing. It's all a product. It's not nutrients and it's a drug, right? And so the reason why that messes with us is because I agree 100% with Ellie that that's the addiction part speaking. But we can't, the reason why that bothers us is because we think we have this craving or taste palette for these carbohydrates, and you're not sure how you're going to cover that or satisfy that with fat and protein. But the reality of it is that when you break that addiction and then you change your taste palette with food, your taste palette is not something you were born with. It's something that is programmable that you can change when you eat. And how it works is when you are eating things that are addictive, your brain likes the dopamine fix, and so it tells you that it likes the flavor of that thing. But when you get free from that, and especially I found this out when I did SBG's priming protocol, and I went from kind of having palate fatigue and all this stuff to being ravenous for meat and eating 7+ pounds of it a day for 6 months. I did not have a problem with variety when my body wanted beef. It was ravenous. It was like I turned into a meat eating animal or something. And it was because what happens is your palate associates that meat with healing and with nourishment. And all of a sudden, now your taste buds want that meat as bad as it wanted the sugar before. And you get free from the addictive side, and your palate's not based off of dopamine fixes anymore. And now it becomes a fix to nutrients, and your taste bud changes. And then you're not feeling that there's not this variety anymore. Because let me tell you, when I was eating 7 pounds of meat, I didn't have a variety problem. My body wanted that meat.
Well said. It's so true. Like the taste buds actually can adjust. And this is a phenomenon that every single carnivore will inevitably experience if you just give it enough time. So, Chad, I question if, firstly, maybe you defined carnivore as lion, which it's not. You can have all of the animal foods. Let's say you heard somewhere in the carnivore space that, oh, you should not be eating dairy because dairy is inflammatory and it's going to make you fat. That doesn't apply to all carnivores. It applies to a lot of carnivores who need to heal autoimmune, who really do need to lose a lot of weight. But the best way to start carnivore for anyone and everyone is to embrace the variety that animal foods can offer. Okay. So have the dairy, have the raw dairy if you can find it. And have all of the variety of meats. So, Chad, another thing that I have to add is, have you tried out my recipes? Because it's exactly why I post them, is for really my husband, who's like you, who struggles with the lack of variety. And my husband is coming from like standard American diet, but eating every single cuisine every single night for takeout, like that type of life. He never really had a phase of eating healthy ever because he could get away with it, which a lot of people can until they can't. Okay. So check out the Bella's recipes. Bella's Cafe recipes. I'll link it in the live chat. Check it out. All right.
100%.
Keep going. Hi, Britt. I'm an SBG, have year-round allergies, always stuffed up, can hardly breathe, especially at night. Don't want to take allergy medicine forever. What is the best thing for treating allergies on a carnivore diet? I actually reversed my allergies, Britt, on a carnivore diet just by going carnivore. So my answer for this one, and I'll pass it off to Ellie next, is if you just give the carnivore diet a chance for long enough, chances are your year-round allergies will get better year after year and possibly just go away altogether. And I've heard this interesting thing that carnivores bring up when they eat. Now, if you know it's going to trigger you, don't eat it. When they eat local raw honey, wherever they live, when they eat the local raw honey, it actually helps with their allergies in that location. I thought that was very fascinating. Okay. But does that mean you should be binging on honey? Obviously not. And if you think that's going to trigger you and bring you back to the carb sugar hole, maybe don't. But that was a fascinating tip that I learned. So, Ellie, tips.
You know what? Unfortunately, I've never had allergies. I think Bella's advice was really sound and good.
Cool. How about you, Todd?
You know, I really haven't had too many allergies either. The only time that I find that I'm sensitive to stuff like that is when I'm inflamed. And so I don't, I mean, I only have food allergies really. I don't think I've ever had like allergies from pollen or anything. And so I was just going to say, if you're sure that it's, external allergies and not something you're eating, then I would definitely, that Bella's answer sounds best. I would also just say, are you sure you're not having a histamine response or something? Because that might be something to look at too. But other than that, if you're sure it's not histamine, then I would definitely say, because that's just, isn't allergies basically an autoimmune condition realistically, because it's an immune response to something, and like that's what histamine responses and everything else is. So it's like an external histamine response, and all the people with histamine responses and autoimmune, they are holding on to the hope that, like many before them, that eventually it'll go away and they can tolerate it, because that happens for
and a lot
many
of
people.
Right. And a lot of people who do go carnivore, again, with enough time, they actually, in fact, do go away. So let's say, Britt, you really are having like full-blown allergies. Maybe is it the spring or pollen allergies, which Max has very intensely, to the point where he has to take medication like Zyrtec every day. So I've seen just how bad it can get with people. You can try to avoid high histamine foods like aged carnivore foods, because like Todd said, it actually could be triggering it. So just think cured meats, aged meats, prosciutto, even cheeses, unfortunately, because it's so aged, that could be triggering your allergies or histamine intolerance. So maybe lay off for a bit and eat fresh meats to see if that helps. And the other thing is just give it time. Give carnivore some more time.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah.
And let us know. It seems how you're an SBG. Keep following. Let us know if it's getting better.
Posted, Britt. That's right. Hey, Michael. Welcome. I've been keto, mainly carnivore, for 2 years now. Congrats. Gaining weight now, just eating carnivore. I eat a lot of pork belly lately. BBBE mainly with heavy cream and MCT oil in coffee. I have lost 70 pounds. Okay, Todd, you should take this. He's gaining weight recently. Not sure why.
Well, man, So an SPG here, we have a guy that joined us 58 days ago, and he's a health instructor. This is really cool. You guys know him. It's Damon. And,
Yes.
and he joined 58 days ago. And so he's been really meticulous. He works out. He does all these things. And he's doing SPG's priming protocol. We just had this conversation today, and it's just awesome. He, first of all, in 58 days, he's lost 10 out of 11 pounds of visceral fat, which is incredible because that's the dangerous fat that you want to get rid of. So in just 58 days, he lost 10 pounds of visceral fat. He's 58 years old. And in 58 days, he was worried that he was losing too much weight because he's a bodybuilder and he lifts and he wanted to keep his weight, and he was losing a lot of weight. But he went back to, because he went to priming, then he went to the fasting protocol. He lost all that visceral fat. He went back to priming. He gained 9 out of the 10 pounds that he lost. And he said, so I'm actually a little bit heavier than when I came here. He said, but my weight belt is super loose now. He goes, I had to retighten my weight belt because my composition changed. And I said, so what are you telling me? He goes, I'm telling you that I lost 10 pounds of visceral fat and gained 10 pounds of muscle in 58 days, or 54 days, sorry, as a 58-year-old man, which doesn't happen ever. So what I'm telling you is you might be gaining fluid, you might be gaining lean tissue, but the thing about carnivore is that people aren't used to, and this is why this matrix up until carnivore used to work, that you could listen to the scale because you didn't have a way to really decipher it or a choice, right? You were nutrient restricting, you were restricting food molecules that are making your body heavier, and that was the only gauge you had to weigh. But not anymore. Carnivore is changing the game because on carnivore, it's a composition diet. You are not trying to lose weight, you're trying to lose fat. And you're also getting healthier and stronger, so you're gaining lean tissue. So it's one of the only ways that we notice all the time that you're gaining lean tissue while losing body fat. So the question is, are your clothes getting tighter? And are your clothes, is it fat or are you building muscle? So it's not a good gauge to look at. Are you getting around easier? Are you feeling stronger? Do you have more stamina? Like, how are you feeling? Where's the weight coming from? And maybe it is fluid, or maybe it is even fat. And then it's time to question, kind of what you're eating. And maybe if something's sneaking in that you're not aware of, but that's why you need a community like SBG where you can be held accountable and have a communal help that's like a giant communal think tank that can help you work through all those issues, and you can see what everybody else is doing that's having success and how it works, so you can stay up to date with like how the composition changes work for everybody.
Well said. I saw Damon's before and afters that he posted recently. He put it in the progress tab.
Yeah.
My gosh. He already started off ripped. Like, we'll give him that. But he looks super ripped now. And so my follow-up is, do you know if Damon was working out super hard? Like, was he keeping the intensity?
He's been working out. The intensity is the same, but he's been working out for like 30 years. He's been doing this for 30 years. He's a personal trainer and coach. And he's just going off because he's like, this is mind-blowing, because that's what I knew the answer to this, but I'm like, okay, so as a 58-year-old man, is it normal to gain 10 pounds of muscle and lean tissue in 54 days? And he goes, it's unheard of. It's completely unheard of. It doesn't happen. I'm like, yeah. Awesome. And I was bringing that up, not because getting ripped is the, this gold standard or something, but the reason why I highlighted that was because it is such a good example of the composition changes. It is such a good example of how proficient the carnivore diet is at gaining lean body mass, which is going to throw the scale off, which is why you should throw that scale where it belongs, which is a dumpster fire. That's where you should put that.
So, not just a trash, but in a dumpster fire.
Exactly. That's where it belongs.
Nice. Love it.
Have you seen the meme of like Ron Swanson? Like, he takes the computer and throws it in the dumpster. Like, just take the computer and make it the scale.
Exactly.
Yes.
Chuck it.
Exactly.
100%.
A tailor's tape is your best friend. Like I said, I lost only 30 pounds that first year, but I lost 30 inches. And if I had just gone, and there was times where there was no weight loss, on the scale, I would have given up. I would have had, I would have gone back to that old mentality I had when I was 240 pounds and being like, I'm not losing weight. And then I'm going to go emotionally eat because I didn't satisfy that. So I agree with what Todd said, but I want to throw that out there too. We need that meme on the screen.
100%. My favorite Ron Swanson quote was when he was at the restaurant and he ordered the meat platter and they said, that serves 12. He goes, I know what I'm about, son. I use that all the time when I'm ordering 3 steaks at the steakhouse. I know what I'm about, son.
An icon.
Nice. Hey, VSP, welcome. Is food aversion just mean that I'm full? Any tips? I quit after a week and a half because of food aversion a couple months ago, and I just started my carnivore diet again today. Well, welcome back. Firstly, that's great that you're back. Food aversion, does that mean that she's full? What do we think here?
We had this chat today in the open chat.
Okay,
and SBG.
cool.
And what it was kind of interesting because we had something like this. We were talking, and I don't know if this is the same person. I don't think it is, but it's interesting.
Okay.
This came up. So this person's doing the priming protocol, and this person's no stranger to fasting. And one thing, she's primed well.
Okay.
In fact, she's like, I'm so tired of eating. And she went through the priming calendar. She said, I'm looking so forward to fasting. And she said, right now we're doing the alternate day fasting. And she said, I did a 36-hour fast and it was just effortless. So that gave me one clue that she had that she had primed correctly when the fast was so effortless, But then she said, but I'm just having a hard time doing the refeed because I eat and I just can't take another bite, but I'm not full yet. And then that's when it realized that brought up something in my brain because I'm like, yeah, that's true. Because when you start healing your hormones and you get leptin sensitivity back, all of a sudden full is different because full becomes satiation because you no longer have to stretch your stomach out to be satisfied and you're hearing your body's signaling cues way better. And so what we came up with, I said definitely ask Raymond, and she's going to post that for his fasting question.
Okay.
But she was worried that not eating enough might be an issue for fasting. And I was like, seeing as how you just did a 36-hour and didn't even notice it, and that you did sound like you fasted or you primed correctly, maybe this is just you're finally able to really hear your body's signaling and you're satiated. And if your fasting isn't having any problems and you're not having any, problems fasting, then you're probably fine. You're just now full means satiated instead of stretched full in your stomach. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting because she wasn't having like a meat aversion where the idea of eating meat made her nauseous when she loves her meat, but then when she gets to certain parts, she's satiated to the point she can't eat anymore. Yeah. So that's what I think. In the long period, what I'm saying is I think there's a point when you heal enough that you can hear your hunger cues and you're having really good leptin sensitivity to where full is no longer my stomach is stretched, but you're satiated.
Oh, definitely. Now, do you think that in VSP's case, because she did say that after a week and a half, she fell off, right? So that makes me question, was she truly actually full or did she truly eat enough? Because if you fall off track after, because of food aversion, whatever that means. Yeah.
Oh, I quit after a week and a half. I wasn't paying attention to that part, but yeah, with that in mind, yeah, then probably it wasn't food aversion. You were craving sugar and you were feeding it meat and you didn't give it enough time to get free from it is what I think.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
Yeah.
Right.
So in that case, join SPG, do the priming, get free from it, and then get your hunger cues, and then you'll line up with what I said earlier because I missed that part because that was starring chats. That's funny.
No, but I love, Todd, that's the beauty of your brain is you can always connect it or you can always remember a conversation that you had with someone where it is relevant, where you can use an everyday situation or a real person scenario to teach.
100% in SPG, and it just keeps it keeps connecting. It's like you're finding all the puzzle pieces and you're putting them together when you get these people's experience, and it adds to your toolbox, which just gives you all these arrows in your quiver every time you're out here fighting, the battle to stay carnivore. It just gives you ammo. It's incredible.
I love it.
There's nothing more inspiring than a person's story. And that's what got me into it, into carnivore, because I was just like, that's all I was going to say. It's just that it's so important. And so I'm so glad that because Todd is always there, guys. So if you're an SVG, and he really, really gets to know everybody. So I appreciate you, Todd.
Oh, appreciate the community. You guys are awesome.
All right. Hi again, Doug. Shredded cheese has potato starch to keep it from sticking. Yep. What about aged hard cheeses? Okay. Yeah, shredded cheese typically does have nasty ingredients. So again, read the ingredients every single time you go grocery shopping. And hard cheeses typically don't have the potato starch because it doesn't need to be shredded. That potato starch is in shredded cheese to keep it from congealing and sticking together. It keeps it nice and dry. Yeah. So hard cheese is a safe bet.
Yeah, you could also get go ahead, Todd.
No, go ahead. You're about to say what I was going to say, so go ahead.
Get a peeler. Get a peeler. Yeah. I have one that's so cool. It actually suctions to the table or the counter, and it has a crank, so you can.
Oh,
I buy I buy bulk cheese, and so I'll like cut that up and go and comes right out. So that's really helpful. Or you can just get a standard, because I think a lot of people in the carnivore community say to use cheese as a condiment, unless you need to gain weight, obviously, then eat your cheese. Right. So maybe you don't have to go as hard as I do with the with the cheese grater.
Oh, and I agree. Awesome. I think that it's better to buy your food. The least processed you can possibly get it, the better, because there's less likely of a chance, that they're hiding something in it. So a block of cheese is better than shredded cheese because they put fillers and junk in it, and you got to be a detective and watch the fine print. And that's why I'm not saying to not eat ground beef. I'm just saying I like grinded it myself because I know what's for sure in it. Because even if they don't add something in it, they put water on it to make it weigh more, and then they freeze it really quick so that it weighs more water, and then they're just selling you water.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why it cooks down. Like if you watch how it's packed in these commercial places, they send it under a sprinkler, puts water in it, it sucks it up for a second, and then they flash freeze it so that it weighs more, so you're paying for water. That's why when you get the cheap ground beef, it shrinks up so bad and you lose so much of it because it was mostly water. Yeah. And I particularly hate that because it gets so much drier. It washes out the fat when it does that. And it's that nasty taste to it. So, but for the same price as the cheap ground beef, you can buy an $89 meat grinder and then go buy brisket at $250, $350, $450 a pound, and you can grind up 22 pounds of it for cheaper than the cheap stuff, and it's way better. And you know what's in it, because when you get a 22-pound piece of meat that's just one muscle, you go, or a series of muscles in one piece, you go, oh, I know exactly what's in that. They can't really play that game of putting stuff in additives,
YouTube video idea, Todd. You have to film that.
All right, I'm on it. All right.
Hi, Nia. Ooh, Nia's way. Oh my gosh. So I think you do live streams with Nia, right, Ellie?
She does. She has a program called Carnivore Mastermind, and I hop on there a lot. Nia is my best friend. We found each other in the carnivore community. Aww. We both have daughters the same age. They both love each other. And Nia is just as amazing as she is in her videos and as in real life.
Yeah, I've seen her videos. She has some amazing helpful tips and content. So hi, Nia. Welcome. Thank you for joining. So this is for you, Ellie. What is one thing you look forward to doing in the future that you thought wouldn't have been possible when you were sick?
Oh my gosh, she knows me. Let's get it. I love talking deep. It's so unfortunate because there's a lot of people who are sick. There's a lot of people there, and you think about people aging, And as their number goes up, with their age goes up, so does the number of medications. And so, and then, you know, obviously there's complications, and it gets tough. And so I like to think that if I'm eating this way, I'm going to be able to grow old and be able to support my children when they have children, and love on those grandchildren and love on those great grandchildren. And that's something that I honestly, I didn't have any self-love before I started eating this way. I really, really hated myself. And I never thought I would be a mother. I never thought like I was worthy of love. And so the fact that I have that future love, and the love obviously now of my children too, but it's like I look forward to aging gracefully and hopefully helping as many people as possible just with telling my story.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, round
Thank
of
you.
applause to Ellie. I think everyone should take a second here and follow Ellie. So her channel is at Nourishment Redacted, as typed. Thank you, Todd. So you can see it literally right under her face, Nourishment Redacted. So just search that on YouTube. And I'll also link it in the description box. So if you click that link, you guys can subscribe to her channel as well. Okay?
Thank you so
Perfect.
much. Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you. All right, Doug, does tallow get rancid? Do you know, Todd?
Only if it's dirty. If it's not dirty, it never gets rancid. And I think there was another one on bacon fat. And no, as long as you clean it. And so there's a couple ways to clean it. One, you can run it through cheesecloth several times, and that'll clean it. The other one is that you dump it in a bowl with a little bit of water, like a big flat bowl. Dump it in there with water, and then let it settle, and then freeze it. And then once you freeze it, the piece of ice on the bottom will have all the sediment in it. If you do that a few times, it'll take it out. So only when reusing it, if it's not pure, does the the meat part of it go rancid. But if you keep it clean, it does not go rancid, and you could leave it on the counter.
Perfect.
Thank you, Todd.
Yep. Okay, let me take a look here. Height 27. Can a carnivore diet trigger rheumatoid arthritis? No. There's no way.
Not a chance. No.
There's
Carnivore
no way.
diet is the least inflammatory diet you can possibly be on, and rheumatoid arthritis is an inflammation disease. So no.
Right. Now, I will add, a lot of people will easily, I don't blame them. They get symptoms where they feel worse before they get better. And so they can't help but think, oh my gosh, did carnivore diet trigger this? Or did carnivore diet cause this? This is why we recommend watch all the YouTube videos. There's so many amazing carnivore channels. And I promise you, every single carnivore who's walked it and actually done it for 90 days, they'll know that, hey, maybe it's oxalate dumping. It could be histamine intolerance. It could just be your body going through the healing journey that it needs to before it feels better. So carnivore doesn't cause these things. It's just your body may be feeling a little bit worse due to adaptation or oxalate dumping before it starts feeling better.
Right. And this is reason 10,099 that communities are important. Because this is literally what happens. There's so many things going on when you first do this, and so many metabolic changes, and so many composition changes, and so many, bacteria changes in your gut, microbiome changes that are happening, and changes to your bathroom. That if you adjusted your diet every time something that you presumed was negative went on, you would never stay carnivore, because you would always be moving around, because you take a negative feeling as something negative attributed to the diet. Where literally what Bella was just saying, I mean, I've been carnivore 25 months. I just went through the oxalate dump of all oxalate dumps, and had I not known what that was about, I would have quit for sure. I was like, oh Lord, something's killing me here, because it was miserable, absolutely miserable. And it lasted 6 weeks. And it was absolutely the roughest oxalate dump I ever went through. but I knew what was going on. But both my knees swelled up. I couldn't even hardly stand up straight. Gosh, it was miserable. I was bleeding from my navel. Like everything was going on. It was so gross, but it was just an oxalate dump. And it was just my body getting rid of all the oxalates that I put in there from, 26 years of eating garbage, And so you could go through something, an oxalate dump or a detox that can cause inflammation, but honestly, it's the only road to healing and health you're going to have. You're going to have to deal with those toxins eventually,
Such a good point. Yeah. Yeah. So look, feeling worse before feeling better is totally normal, guys. And I actually want to hear from all of the people in this live stream. If you guys are here in the community watching, viewing, or interacting in the chat and comments, share your experiences, because again, back to the stories, like Todd was saying, the stories are what matter. The anecdotal evidence and stories that we hear from real people going carnivore is literally the truth, and it's what matters. Okay. So don't get carried away with the noise from groups and communities that haven't even tried carnivore. They're just trying to scare you. There's
for sure
literally the vegan diet coming at me every single day, trying to disprove carnivore. So the more stories that we can get from people who actually have gone carnivore, the better. So share in the live chat or in the comments, what were some of the adaptation symptoms or oxalate dumping things that happened with you after going carnivore? This helps a lot of people. And look at that. Phil is here. Oh my
Man of the
gosh.
hour. We have been saving questions
Yeah.
just for you. I was going to take a swing at him, and Bella said, please, God, no. So.
Thank goodness you're here, Phil. Good to see you. How are you?
Nice to be here.
Yeah, we were gushing about you a lot. So it's here after the fact, because a lot of people were missing you as well. Yes.
Oh,
so welcome.
Well, that's always like to be missed.
Awesome.
All right. We got 3 for you so far that I think I could have handled it better.
Awesome. So this one is from Joyce, and we told her that we would shelf it if you were to come. So here you are. So Joyce says, I take 10 mg of lisinopril, but my blood pressure is going too low. I have to call the doc because I'm afraid, but I'm afraid to stop cold turkey. Any advice?
Well, first, it depends on what you're taking it for. If you're taking it for hypertension, then that means that you may not need as much dose. And typically, we cut it in half, 5 milligrams. But if you're taking it for a congestive heart failure or any type of issue with the heart muscle, it's a little different. But this is a great time to start seeing if you can wean off this medicine if it's for your blood pressure. I actually take lisinopril myself, and I only take 5 milligrams. And I was in the doctor's office yesterday. My blood pressure was 101/58. But the first time I took lisinopril was when I had my heart infection in 2001. And I had to take it for 2 years along with a beta blocker. And for those 2 years, my pulse ran in the low 40s and my blood pressure ran in the 80s over 40s. And I had to be really careful, but I had to use it to do what's called heart remodeling. So if you're doing heart remodeling, you don't want to get off of it, but if you're taking it for hypertension, you want to wean off of it. And typically they cut it in half for a month, recheck your blood pressure 3 times a day, and then hopefully you'll get off of it. So good sign.
Yay.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going to say too. So
Of course you were.
Of course. Judy, if I have chronic hyperinsulinemia, should I eat the healthy salts at all? I'm 4 months in and strong, but no results yet.
Should I eat the healthy salts at all? What did you guys think about this? I mean,
Well,
Honestly, I didn't know what hyperinsulinemia meant.
thank you for saying that.
chronic
too much
too much insulin. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So, I guess the way I'm taking this is some people have an insulinoma, which is a tumor that secretes insulin, and they have hyperinsulinemia. But some people are taking large doses of insulin externally, and we would call that, because they're so insulin resistant, and we call that hyperinsulinemia. So I don't know which one we're talking about here. So Judy could give a little more detail. That would be
Sure.
great.
All right, we will.
But but I don't see, regardless, I don't healthy salts at all. I'm not quite sure what you're asking, because you're either eating salt or you're not eating salt. I guess healthy salts versus unhealthy salts. So I'm really confused by the question. So I need more from Judy. So maybe she'll post something.
And then we'll take an intermission from Phil's questions and put the super chat up.
Okay. Thank you. Keto Simple. Thank you all for what you do and sharing your stories. So very important. Thank you so much. That's so nice.
Hi, Dustin.
Oh, you know him.
Thank you. Yeah, Dustin's a big support. So thank you so much. He has a great channel too. Check him out.
Ooh, let's all subscribe to Dustin at, let me read it again, Keto Simple.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Another one for Phil.
Oh, yes. Back to this one. So, does anyone have experience with shrinking uterine fibroids on Carnivore? Phil, have you seen this with members or anyone?
Well, personally, I don't have a uterus, so
yes.
I want to make that clear. But I have heard several women talk about their uterine fibroids and uterine fibroid pain going away on Carnivore. So I'm very encouraged by that. You would think a uterine fibroid is a abnormal growth of the muscle tissue in the wall of the uterus, and they can be on the outside of the uterus, the inside of the uterus, or the middle of the muscle of the uterus. And in some women, they're actually painful. They can cause excessive bleeding, depending on where they're located. But we have an open chat at SVG, and we've had a couple women say their fibroids went away. So I'm really encouraged by that. Which, as a doctor, that seems like that wouldn't happen, because I think of it as a muscle within a muscle, as a abnormal muscle. But all growths are probably due to some inflammatory process going on in your body. You heal the inflammation, and the process reverses itself. And my wife's had 2 growths in her body that, going keto, they're both regressing. So one was a polyp in a gallbladder, and one is a benign tumor in her kidney, and they were both half size, and they've shrunken by 50%. And we remeasured them because we wanted to see how fast they were growing. We both shrunk by 50% on a keto diet. So
that's awesome.
So I'm a believer. Not going to happen for everyone, but it does happen.
Right.
That's awesome. All right.
Hi, Joyce. Welcome. Does bacon grease need to be refrigerated? Todd, you would say so, yeah?
Not unless there's a bunch of sediment in it. But even bacon grease, honestly, is even more resilient to going rancid, because the meat before it's even cooked is already cured. For the most part.
Okay.
Yeah,
with the salt, it helps it. Okay.
Yeah,
but some people eat uncured bacon. So
true.
Okay.
if you want to leave your bacon grease out, so let me talk as a public health guy, put my public health hat on. You want to strain your bacon grease before you put in your bacon grease jar. And if you strain it, it's totally safe to leave out. But if you have bits of bacon in it, I agree with Todd. If it's 100% cured bacon, it's probably going to be okay. But you just don't know how well it's been cured. So
You'd be proud of me, Phil. I answered that question the same way about the towel earlier.
No, it was, you nailed it. You nailed it. It's just we don't always know the quality
For sure.
of the bacon if it's been properly cured, right?
Yes.
So if you're going to have bacon bits in your bacon grease, I would refrigerate it just to be on the safe side.
For sure.
But remember, the pioneers used to keep bacon grease forever out on the shelf.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
They did die at 31, but there's no telling.
There might have been something else going on.
But they died of infectious diseases, not from the bacon grease.
For sure. I just thought I'd point that out mainly because it was funny.
Love it, Todd. All right, Joyce. Shout out to Bella. We hit 1 month tomorrow. Started out as a weight loss journey. That's awesome. We lost 13 and 12 pounds, I'm guessing, collectively. That's amazing. But now I'm not concerned about weight. I'm enjoying no arthritis, pain, and I'm sleeping well. See, this is what we love to hear. Is you think you'll just get weight loss, you think you'll just look awesome, and then you also feel awesome. You have no pain, you sleep like a baby, just crazy things that happen that you didn't expect. And believe it or not, this happens to most people who go carnivore and give it enough time. So congrats. Thank you, Joyce, for sharing that.
Awesome.
Hey, Costa, welcome. Will carnivore restore a regular/normal heart rhythm? Phil.
It does in some people, others it doesn't. So it's incredible. Carrie at Homestead Howe reports that he had an arrhythmia since childhood that totally stabilized on it.
Yeah.
We've had a couple members that had atrial fibrillation and it reversed on carnivore. So all kinds of arrhythmias can normalize when you eat the proper human diet.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
No guarantee, but it can.
That's right. Berm, how long does it take to normally see results with autoimmune skin conditions like psoriasis on a carnivore diet? So I healed psoriasis on a carnivore diet, and it took me about 6 months to really feel like things are really turning around and it's going away. So give it at least 6 months, I would say. Ellie, did you struggle with autoimmune skin issues?
I had rosacea. And I'd say it took about a year, but I think it was also tied to my gut. I think it was tied to my gut and being so chronically constipated. It took a while for me, but I'd say it's like 80% better, and I'm good with that for now. I think all of our bodies, they take the time that they need to heal, and as long as you keep fueling it with the best foods on the planet, then you're going to get there.
Yeah, I love that. Ellie, by the way, I just want to make sure that you're okay on time. I know that you have kiddos. We're now over 2 hours, and I don't want to keep you if you have to go spend time with the family.
They are sleeping, so it's
good.
A-okay. I'm so happy to be here. Let's do it. Keep going.
Oh my gosh. What an honor to have you. Thank you for being here, Ellie.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Annette, I still feel the need to binge eat at night. I keep it carnivore though. Will the need to binge stop? I feel guilty doing it. So this is such a cool question, because basically Annette is saying that she is binging on carnivore. She keeps it carnivore, but she's still binge eating. And that's something that I, to this day, love to talk about with you guys, is to open up the conversation. Is it even possible to binge eat on a carnivore diet? Is it the same thing? You're shaking your head, Todd. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think that binge eating is like something you do for addiction cravings, and eating a lot of carnivore is just getting nourishment is what I think. I think if your body's hungry, it's going to want the food. And if you're eating, if you're eating, cheese and more of the hyper palatable, like
True.
snacky type of carnivore foods. But if you're eating BBB&E, I don't think you can binge BBB&E. I think maybe you could do it on pork rinds and cream cheese dip or something, but not. I don't think you can do it on BBB&E. If you're worried about it, try BBB&E or Lion Diet for 90 days and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. If you're binge eating at night with cheese and pork rind chips dipped in sour cream, sure, that's very easy actually to overeat because it's so hyper palatable. Phil, what are your thoughts on this? Is it possible to binge on carnivore?
Yes, I think it is, and I agree with what Todd said. But the other use case I think is when you're chronically undereating. People that are just undernourished. They are doing OMADs, or they think they need to be at some low level of calories, and they're just not getting enough protein in their diet. So
Yeah.
I'd like to add why do you feel like you're guilty when you're eating food? Like maybe there's something where you would restrict too much in the past, and now you're finally trying to, because what a binge to me might be different to you, and so maybe just dig deep. Sorry, I'm blurry again, this darn camera. Maybe dig deep and to think about why you might be doing that. Or, I think stress happens to everybody. I went through a pretty stressful year last year, and I can honestly say that I kind of like saying that stress is a bucket, and I feel like my bucket got bigger to the amount of stress that I can handle on carnivore, where before was like a little cracked teacup, and it would like constantly spill over. So that's where my binging came from, and emotional eating. So maybe try to do some self-care and to think about things like that, and taking time to take care of yourself. Maybe that would help as well.
I love that, Ellie. Yeah, that's so true. So when I heard Phil share just now about how he thinks you tend to binge because you have been under eating for a long time, I feel like that's exactly what happened to me when I went carnivore. Because my first few months of going carnivore, I was eating 5 pounds of meat every day, per day, every day. And I felt like my appetite was just insatiable. No matter how much I ate, I wanted more meat, more butter, more eggs. So I don't love using the word binging if you are literally eating animal foods, whole animal foods like meat, eggs, and butter. So it is okay to overeat and eat tons and eat more than you ever have, Annette. And I think you should not feel guilty doing it, because the key words there that I really don't love is, she says, I feel guilty doing it. Don't feel guilty. If you're eating meat and butter and eggs or whatever it is that you're eating, and you are nourishing your body, like Todd was saying, you're just getting in the nourishment that your body needs. Zero guilt necessary. And do keep us posted. You're literally on the best track to healing your binge eating, by the way. Okay, thank you.
For sure.
Hey, Nancy. Thanks, y'all. Have to run. Oh, okay. Bye.
She's just saying
Thank
bye.
you for
Lindy,
joining.
Lindy wanted to let us know that she was
Yeah.
out of here. So.
Oh, thanks for joining us. Okay, Julia, welcome. How do I know if I'm eating enough? I do mostly 2 meals a day and I feel good and satiated, but I worry that my calories may be too low some days just because I'm not super hungry. Oh, I'll take this. I see that Julia's profile picture, she looks young. I would say look at some symptoms here. Look at some signs. Is your hair falling out? How is your period every month? Are you getting cramps during your period? Are you getting intense sugar cravings before your period, the days leading up to your period? These are really reliable markers that even I myself still enjoy checking into every single day. At this point, I've made it an autopilot habit where every single day, throughout any day, I'm checking into these markers. How are my sugar cravings? How was my period this month? right? I'm just about finishing up my cycle this month, and 0 chocolate cravings, unlike when I was vegan, 0 bloating, and 0 cramping. That's what we want as young women. So if you're not getting any negative signs on those markers, if you're not losing any hair, then I would say you're eating enough, even on 2 meals a day. Here in SBG, we love starting out carnivores on 3 meals a day, aka priming, but you don't necessarily have to do it. If you're feeling great, symptoms are great. Did I do that okay, Phil?
You did great.
Thank you, Phil. Okay.
That's awesome.
Hi, Sandra. Welcome. I lost 20 pounds in the beginning of carnivore. Congrats. I gained 5 pounds after incorporating extra butter, and I am at a stall by only eating ribeye, salt, and water. What am I doing wrong? Nothing. You did nothing wrong. Like, is she saying here, because I'm a little confused, is she saying that she gained 5 pounds after the extra butter and now the 5 pounds are there, even just eating ribeye, salt, and water? Because it
That's
seems
what
like
she's
she's
saying.
not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, is she requiring
your body? Yeah, but your body takes a break every so often. Your body's lost 20 pounds. It's not unusual. Your weight loss on carnivore really has to do with healing and how much weight you have to lose. And when you look at weight loss, it's not a ski slope. It's more of a sawtooth, like a stair step going down. Some people drop a bunch of weight and then their body takes a pause, gets renourished, does some healing. And then there's the group that doesn't lose any weight up front. They're all about the healing. And then the weight loss comes later. So I wouldn't worry about it. It doesn't sound like, from what you're describing, Sandra, you're doing anything wrong.
Well said. Okay. Hot sauce, welcome. What if you're not getting enough fat? I don't like chuck, dark meat, chicken, or short ribs, but I do love bacon. Then go ahead and eat the bacon. That's a great source of fat. Good job.
For sure. All right.
All right. Hi, Keith. Welcome. Is seasoned salt okay?
Seasoning salt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Todd?
I don't think so. I think it's got too much. I mean, it depends on what kind you're using, I guess. Like most of the seasoning salt's got a bunch of junk in it. Now, smoked salt, I think that's a lot different. I think the smoked salt, if you're going to use a flavored salt, is the best way to go. Seasoning salt's got a lot of fillers and a lot of junk in it. At least most of them. I haven't looked too far into it, but the 4 or 5 brands of seasoning salt that I used to use, they all have crap in it for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And
I was at Costco today, and I walked down the aisle looking at all the seasonings. And it's amazing how many of them have sunflower oil, safflower oil, sugar in them. And the sugar they try to disguise. They'll call it dextrin. They'll call it, weird names for sugar. So just be aware that the more complicated the mixture, the more likely it's have something that you may tolerate, but you may not. But sure, a lot of the barbecue seasonings have brown sugar in it, which you really want to get away from the sugars if you can.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. Hi, Jill. What does a day of eating look like for you ladies? Can butter make you not lose weight? Oh, we have a lot of butter questions today. Love it. Okay. What happened to Ellie? Did she drop off?
She's just getting some headphones. I think she'll be right back on.
Okay. Perfect. So then I guess I'll take this. What does a day of eating look like for you? 2 meals a day typically these days for me, just because I'm more active than usual, as in I'm doing workouts. So I'll need more food. So I'll do breakfast or lunch and typically a dinner to complete those 2 meals a day. And I'll have anything from steak, chicken wings, fresh pork belly. I'll have tons of eggs, butter on the side if I need the fat. I just go by my cravings. Whatever it is that I feel like tastes or sounds appetizing, I'll just cook up. I basically have my go-to favorite meals that autopilot, I know it's going to make me feel good. I know that I'm going to stay full, and that's what I eat. So, Ellie, if you can take this next, what does a day of eating look like for you?
Absolutely. Thanks. Sorry. I got a little cold.
No
My
worries.
headphones are dying, so I'm so glad to be back. Yeah, a typical day for me is I find that eggs are the best in the morning for me. I'll eat about like 5 or 6 eggs. A sausage won't is pretty great, or a couple slices of bacon. That's usually like a breakfast that I'll enjoy, maybe with a little bit of cheese. Lunch is typically burger patties. I'm pretty simple when it comes to eating. I also love chicken thighs. Chicken thighs are fantastic. And then if I could have lamb at the end of the day, I'm a happy lady. So I love shrimp. I love shrimp too. If I can have any kind of seafood, and I'm trying to throw in some more sardines as well. So that's kind of like a typical day of eating for me. Lots of variety.
Love it. Love it. And then the question, can butter make you not lose weight? Well, there's so many factors that contribute to you not losing weight. And some of those factors are things that you just cannot cheat or hide from or skip over, which is, and something that we see a lot is you need to first heal. Some women have to gain weight initially to heal before the body feels safe and ready to lose the extra weight. So I wouldn't say that butter is a sure way to gain weight or prevent you from losing weight. I actually see tons of people eat more butter and their pants fall off, like Butter Bob, right? You just start losing weight because you're eating more fat, butter or not. So it really depends. And don't see weight gain or weight loss, weight stalls as the end of the world. It's just not. Okay, let's keep going.
All right.
All right. Before MK, I do want to request from everyone to put in the comments, what's a typical day of carnivore eating for you? Let's all share. MK says, I'm 5 days carnivore, a newbie. Congrats. My breakfast is mostly eggs and bacon or hamburger and poached egg. I feel fine with breakfast, but after eating lunch and dinner, I feel fatigue. What am I doing wrong? So there's no such thing as doing something wrong. Like I don't love it when I keep seeing in these questions, oh, what am I doing wrong? What's going wrong? Typically, when you feel like you're doing something wrong, I'm guessing you're associating it with not feeling amazing or not dropping weight the way that you want. Believe it or not, after going carnivore, you could potentially feel worse before you get better because adaptation happens to everyone. Okay? So don't consider that like you're doing something wrong. Ellie, did you want to chime in? Fatigue.
I feel like fatigue would come if I drank too much coffee. Especially, before I joined SBG, I used to drink coffee before I ate my meals, and I would find that I would have that slump in the middle of the day, especially because I'm not eating as much because I'm not being fully satiated. It could also just be from, are you sleeping enough at night? Do you feel like you're getting enough sleep? Like, I feel like that could come. And it's so funny today. After I had my breakfast and I was like, oh, it's lunchtime. I don't feel hungry, but I should eat. I ended up eating way more than I needed to. So sometimes you don't feel hungry. Maybe you need more food is what I'm basically saying. Yeah. So check your sleep, eat more food, and see how it goes over time. Maybe tracking and seeing if there's like potentially like some kind of food that's making you more tired than something else.
I love that, Ellie. Like, take a nap. Rest. 5 days into carnivore, you could be feeling fatigued because your body just wants to unwind and heal and rest, right? Todd, you're smiling over there. Is something funny?
Oh, sorry. Here, let me go to it real quick. I was just thinking, I just found this backhanded compliment to you in the chat. I thought it was funny. It says, those recipes are surprisingly good. That made me laugh.
Well, thank you.
I was thinking that must be, Janice must be from a Southerner because that's a Southerner's backhanded comment if I ever heard one.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah,
That-
That's
Janice.
someone that's when you set low expectations.
Sorry,
Which is a
that
great
just
way to approach anything. But yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
that just had me chuckling when I read it.
Love that.
Let's see.
Oh.
Here, I'm gonna put this one up because I don't remember. Is this the one we were just on? I've been starring comments.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we gave enough tips, so thanks.
Okay, so we'll get
Yeah.
that one out of there. Now we'll go to this one.
Perfect. Hey, baby smoke. I have been carnivore for about 2 weeks now, and I was wondering if I need a blood test to make sure everything is fine. Phil, would you take this?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. There's nothing to be gained by it. Nothing will be off. When you get your first blood done, if you do lipid profiles at 90 days, you'll probably find your LDL cholesterol is higher than normal. That's just the adaptation to a fat-based fuel diet. That's nothing to worry about. But really, you want to see where your blood is 6 to 12 months out. There's not going to be anything unless you're. There would be one exception if you're being monitored for diabetes. Diabetics tend to heal quickly, and if you and monitor your blood sugar, but you should be doing that more frequently. So I assume you're not diabetic. And if those would be the main reasons. But usually, no, you don't need. Carnivore diet doesn't change your blood in 2 weeks.
Perfect. Okay.
I wanted to report something because I always like
Yes,
to be
please.
transparent. So I think I talked in my latest video, or maybe I brought it up here last time about the vitamin D, but I wanted to state that again. That
Right.
I had been vitamin D deficient for years and took 5,000 units, international units of vitamin D for years. And I wanted to be carnivore for a year before I tried off of it. So I stopped my vitamin D in November and had my vitamin D level done a week ago. And it came out 58, which is the highest it's ever been on no supplements. So people always worry about, well, do you need to take supplements? And you do to correct existing deficiencies. But as I proved with this, once I got over my deficiency, carnivore is maintaining my vitamin D levels just fine. So I thought I'd share that for people that are afraid that they have to be taking lots of supplements.
You don't. Yeah. Love that, Phil. Oh, yeah. And I see your message, Todd. So, Phil, I think your video is just a bit laggy. It's like lagging after your voice,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
I noticed when I put my hands up, it happens like 30 seconds late. So I don't know what to do for it.
No worries.
It's okay. Well, we hear you very clearly, so it should be perfectly fine.
What was that?
I'm calling from Japan tonight. If you've ever seen the old Japanese Godzilla movies where people talk and then the voice comes out.
What was that character from the 80s on MTV, Max Headroom or whatever?
Yeah, Max Headroom.
Yeah.
No, I remember when they used to translate the Japanese movies and it was never quite right back in the 60s.
Oh, yeah, dubbing.
Dubbing, yes, dubbing. So I'm being dubbed tonight.
Like those old kung fu movies. That's awesome.
That's right.
Nice. Okay. Oh yeah, Todd, we did this.
Oh, sorry. Dang it.
No worries. Okay. Hi, Juyeon. Bella, what is your daily basis eating? And how often do you eat? Daily basis? Is she saying like daily?
What are you
amount?
eating on a daily basis?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I did cover it minutes ago. So beef, fresh pork belly, chicken wings, eggs, butter, raw kefir are my staples these days. How often do I eat 2 meals a day? Hope that helps.
All right.
Hi, SD. New to the SBG group. Yay, welcome to the family. Okay, I have done carnivore in the past, but I had difficulty sticking with it long term. Where and when did you all find long term success? This is wonderful. Love this question. Let's start with Ellie.
Oh man. I think for me, it was like when the depression finally lifted and the brain fog went. I don't even think I mentioned that. The brain fog. I also have ADD, so that was greatly improved too. So just thinking in general and being able to focus and pay attention to tasks was really, really great. And when did I find long-term success? I guess just when you stop thinking about food. A lot of people in the carnivore community like to talk about food noise or food freedom. When you stop thinking about food all the time, especially if you come from an emotional background, eating background like me, it feels really successful when you don't really think about food very much and you're just like, oh, right, I'm supposed to eat. And that's a whole new feeling for me. And so I feel like all the crutches that I've had in my life, the shackles, if you will, that held me back, I feel like I could finally like let go of them and I feel free. And I think that's something that I wish more people would have in life.
Beautiful. Love that. Todd, how about you?
Let's see here. I found success just on carnivore. It's the only successful thing. But when I got into a community, that's when it started filling in all the gaps that I was missing. This what I like. Literally in the first week that I was in SBG, I was listening to the NSB calls and the community calls and reading the chat. And what happened was, there's all these things that I didn't understand that I thought maybe I was going crazy, like feeling bad when I'd have chicken, or just all these little idiosyncrasies that had me doubting on a daily basis whether I was doing something wrong, that had me almost, you feel like you're going a little crazy because you're like, do I need to adjust something again, instead of just letting, being calm with it and just letting it go, and understanding that everything that feels negative is not a feedback that you're doing something wrong. It's just things working its way out. And once I started hearing everybody do that, I realized, oh, this is long term. So I don't know. I was 9 months into carnivore, but I had crashed my metabolism at month 7 when I came to SBG. And SBG is where I figured out, which course it makes sense. If you're on your own, you're only going to learn from your own experience. But when you're in a group with hundreds of other people, you're going to learn from everybody's experience. So it's a group tank of information. So how is that? Especially, it's a really non-biased group tank of information because nobody's selling anything. It's literally all the people are just trying to get healthy, and they're giving you feedback and they're letting you know it works. So it's pretty much the most non-biased, natural way to get information and to filter out all the nonsense that I can think of. It's really, I don't know why I didn't see that before, but once you experience it, you're like, oh, okay, this makes total sense. This is worth its weight in gold,
I love that. How about you, Phil?
Well, I had a goal in mind when I started, which was to reverse metabolic syndrome. And I did that in 4 months. And it's interesting. I noticed that my recall of my memory got very, very, very good. Because I've been retired since 2019, and I've been out of clinical practice since 1997. Because I did informatics most of my career. So I was, when I realize how much things come back to me now, that's pretty motivating. And as I focus on helping other people, that takes the focus off of me and puts it on what I can give back, because I'm very thankful to be healing. So that has been, so the first thing was, the first 4 months was all about me, but after the first 4 months, it's all about you all. So that's what's done it for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
And real quick, I have to give a big shout out and thank you to all of you guys here. Not just Phil, not just Todd, not just Ellie. All three of you, plus Lindy, plus everyone who comes onto these panels during these Friday live streams, as well as everyone in the live chat watching this live stream. It really is the best community, and you'll feel it immediately once you start immersing yourself in this carnivore community. And when I first started carnivore 6 years ago, there weren't too many carnivore communities just yet. Now there's so many fantastic ones, so many. But when I started, I was feeling quite lonely. And when I started, it was also during the pandemic. So not only was I stuck at home, I felt this desire to want to make friends and talk to real life people about this incredible lifestyle. So I took matters into my own hands and I created the Steak and Butter Gang. So that's exactly why it was created, because I felt lonely. And so it was a very selfish thing, but it blossomed into something I cannot even believe to this day. I met Phil because of it. I met Todd. I met Ellie. I met the whole team, right? So you just never know who you can meet when you join a community. It doesn't have to be SBG. I know that Carrie started their community called, what is it called, Todd?
Healing Humanity.
Perfect. Like every YouTuber here on YouTube has a community. Ellie has a community. What's yours called, Ellie?
We call ourselves the Redactivores.
Oh, cute.
Isn't that
like
fun?
A dinosaur.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cute. I love it.
Thanks.
It's
That's
very
awesome.
Jurassic Park, Ellie.
Yeah, we're I don't know. It was when I first started my channel, I was like, we need a name, and someone just came up with it. It was, community driven. So that's what they voted on, and that's who we are. So, and then I have a second channel, Lioness Lifestyle, where we interview women, and they come on, and every Tuesday we go live and we share success stories. So if you want to hear from a women's perspective, and we call everyone the Lions and Lionesses. So that's really fun too.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Let me link that second channel.
Thank you.
Perfect. Of course.
That's awesome.
Okay. Hi, Thomas. You really don't have to gift us like this. You're so generous. Thank you. You
have a
all are
question,
so
Thomas.
freaking fantastic. Yes, go ahead, Ellie.
Thomas, is your love language gift giving? It's beautiful if it is. You don't have to, though. They told me you need to save money on food, so do that instead.
For sure.
They said it, not me.
Todd said it.
That's that. Don't spend any of your guys' meat money on super chats. Just get in early.
Yeah,
We'll
really
answer them
don't.
anyways. Yeah.
Exactly.
Spend it on, if you're going to spend it on anything, and I mean this legitimately, join SBG and try it for a month and you'll be happy you did. And I'm saying that because
Oh, it's
Bella
all
won't,
worth it.
but seriously.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Todd. Okay, let's keep going. And thank you, Thomas. You're the best. Sandra, do you have the details for the conference in Melbourne in April? Okay, so very excited about this. It is April 26th. Let me just make sure. Yeah, April 26th. And Melissa, the host, she has not yet started announcing that it's happening. So it's very much still in the works, but it will happen. Just save the date, April 26th. And once it is announced by Melissa, I will make sure to post it on my YouTube. I'll post it in SVG so you guys can see the RSVPable things, and I'll link it. Okay. But it's April 26th.
Perfect.
Hey, Tim. Good to see you here. Sandra has a question above with some info. Yeah.
Oh,
Do we
I think I missed it.
see
Nope. Lindy
Okay.
posted that. So
Don't
I'll
even
see if I-
try to search it,
Yeah.
Todd. Yeah,
It's a
it's
million,
impossible to
dude.
find. Yeah. Frank, Todd, being a male carnivore, have you noticed with a certain carnivore food, when peeing in a non-toilet cleansing one, just water occasionally, lots of bubbles that sit on top. White.
Yes, but not on a certain carnivore food. And I have no idea why. But yes, I pee water sometimes. And sometimes I have bubbles, and I really don't know what it means or why. But it just happens. I'm guessing that's a Phil question.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
those are basically ketone bodies, fat globulars and ketone bodies that they float to the top, and instead of forever blowing bubbles, you're forever peeing bubbles. So we we could put that to some orchestra music, and we'd be all set to go.
There you go. Ketone bubbles.
This
Ketone
happens to my
fluid.
Yeah.
husband. This happens to him too. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, sometimes this hasn't happened in a long time, but before I used to retain a bunch of water, like sometimes 30 pounds in a couple of day period from the lymphedema stuff. And then all of a sudden my body would release it. So I would actually, especially in fasting, so I would take a big enough pee that the bubbles would make it over the toilet.
What?
I would be moving like a gallon of pee. I peed so
Oh,
much
wow.
that I flushed the toilet by peeing in it. It's crazy. Like, no joke.
Whoa.
It's got to be a record.
That's
I was going to call.
Well,
Wait,
well,
you
you said
apply
you
for the
lost
Guinness World
30,
Record.
32 pounds one day. So
Yeah, 32
uh,
pounds is
a
about 11
gallon
hours.
of water is 7.5 pounds. So I mean
Dang.
that's like probably 4.5 gallons of water that you lose in one day.
I know. And you know what? When you
Wow.
wake up at 3 a.m. and you're tired and you got to take take even a gallon pee, you get tired of peeing. You're like, I got to get some sleep. I can't be
Oh my
taking this
God.
pee for 10 minutes. Holy cow, I got to get some sleep.
Todd, you're too
Yeah.
funny.
Oh,
Oh
man.
my gosh, I agree with Robert. He says call Guinness.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, I don't know how, as far as peas go, but I'm pretty sure this is a record. Pretty sure I am
Yeah.
going to take first.
That's a
For
lot.
sure.
But then don't they have to record it? So that means you have to pee in a room with people watching. That's
Hey,
weird.
I'm not shy. I'll go for it. I'll go down for the funniest record ever on the record. I'll take it.
Love that. Okay. Okay, April, welcome. Is vanilla extract okay? And how long does it take to feel better after a setback? I was on day 9 and drank low carb, gluten free wine. Oh, I didn't even know there's low carb, gluten free wine. Yeah. I feel awful. I'm now at day 13. I was feeling great until that. I'm sorry that happened, April. And totally normal. People have setbacks all the time. And just get back on track. It might take a couple days. It might take a full week. But I promise you, you'll go back to feeling amazing if you just keep eating those carnivore meals and you stay consistent. And is vanilla extract okay, Todd? What do you think?
I don't know. I know a lot of people use it, and I think it's probably fine. I think it's probably even better than the sugars. I just stayed away from it because I like the artificial sugars, but I just stayed away from it because it's vanilla extract to me is too much on that sweet palate that it makes me crave those sweet things. So I stay away from it because it's got that sweet taste to it.
Ellie, do you ever use vanilla extract?
Rarely. Sometimes something for the kids. I'll make like a carnivore waffle or something and throw it in there.
Yeah.
And they enjoy it. Maybe a little cinnamon. But I personally stay away from spices. Except salt.
Oh.
Rarely.
So why do you stay away from spices?
So when I first started my carnivore journey, like my rosacea was really bad. My perioral dermatitis, I can't speak. It used to make my face burn. I actually recorded a video about this, cleaning out all of the spices and all the food that used to, hurt me and inflame me, and with the promises of when I gave birth to my children, and I was told if I eat more oatmeal, I would be able to breastfeed, and I wasn't able to breastfeed. And so I did this big purge of my pantry, and I decided that I wanted to be as clean as possible. I stopped drinking coffee and all that stuff because I really wanted to heal. And it's a little a bit of an emotional video, but it's out there. It's probably not the best quality either, but it's raw and it's real. And so that's why I stopped. And I rarely do salt now. If I feel like I need it, I'll use it.
Yay, another no salt carnivore. Yeah, not
Yeah.
many of us.
No.
Love it. Okay.
All right, hold on.
Hopefully that helps, April. Hello, JMJ. I've been getting a lot of heartburn on carnivore. What causes heartburn? Phil, would you like to take this?
Yeah, that's not an uncommon complaint when people start carnivore, especially. We hear a lot of people that get heartburn, and there's several things that we do. Slow down a little bit, eat smaller meals, more frequent. Some people find using a little apple cider vinegar with their meal can help with that. But it usually goes away within 2 to 4 weeks. So it's nothing to worry about. It's just your body adapting.
Yes. Perfect.
All right.
Hey, Amanda. So Amanda's scheduled today to give a plasma donation, and she says, I'm about to go. They want you to stay and replenish with a snack. Cheese is the only thing I can have from there, and I am 2 meals a day. I hope that's okay. Phil, what do you think?
Yeah, if I was going to donate blood, I would probably take some sliced ribeye with me, a little baggie, and eat the ribeye rather than the highly processed cheese snacks that they give you at the Bloodmobile, because that stuff is usually pretty bad. I would either take my own unpasteurized aged cheese or some sliced meat or some kind of really clean, meat stick like chomps or something like that. I had a carnivore friend come over the other day, and he had a bag of steak strips from Costco. He said, "Oh, these are great." And he's a diabetic who kind of goes on and off carnivore all the time. And we totally had his diabetes in remission. And he said, "Oh, you should try these." I said, "Well, actually, I'm on a 72-hour fast, so I'm not going to try." And today I was at Costco, and I looked at the label, and it had 8 grams of sugar, added sugar per serving.
Oh, no.
So obviously I didn't buy it, but I was so glad I didn't eat it because he brought it in a baggie. He didn't have in the original bag. So you really got to look at all these meat things. So what I do when I travel, I either take hard-boiled eggs with me or sliced ribeye and put it in a baggie and refrigerate it till I leave. It travels really well and can sit for hours, and it's great for planes. And the third thing I use sometimes is sardines, because you can open them up, pop it open, and eat them right there, cold out of the can. But I'm not a big fan of the processed cheese snacks at the Bloodmobile. So
Yeah.
take your own.
Chances are it's not real cheese too. It's probably fake cheese. So double check.
Probably a lot of seed oil.
Yeah, that too. That's right. Would love to know what your favorite snack is for those watching this live stream. Commented. Just choose one, not a list. Just one. Your favorite carnivore snack. Hi, Caleb. You're still here. Thanks for joining us this whole time. How can I get a good bark on my brisket? No spices. Is that like a good sear?
Well, no, it's a good smoke buildup, but kind of like a sear, but it's a smoke buildup. Dry your brisket in the fridge before you do it. So put the brisket like on a rack in your refrigerator for 24 hours and let the moisture come out of it. Make sure that it goes in really dry. The lower and slower you cook it, the more smoke you're going to get on it. That's going to help with the bark. So cook it low and slow. And then if you really, really, really want it, you gotta inject the brisket so that it stays moist on the inside, but then don't wrap it for the last 6 hours because that creates a little bit of steam inside, and that softens the bark. So if you want to cook it the entire way unwrapped, then go ahead and inject it with like beef broth, right? Beef broth and butter, and use an injector, and then it'll stay moist on the inside. Cook it lower and slower. Let it take time, and you'll build up the craziest bark you can get on. That's the only way I know.
Nice. I feel like that was probably like A+ tips right there. So,
All right, let's go up here.
So Todd, you'll be interested. A guy at our church, he invited me to. 5 of us are going to do an event for our church called Five Guys and 5 Grills.
There you go.
And we're each going to cook a different meat, and we're going to have it
fun.
after church on March 2nd. And Ellie, maybe you want to come over from Clearwater and come to Tampa, come to church with us, and
that would be fun.
yeah. So we're expecting. Typically, we'll have like 400 people show up for it. So we're gonna. It should be a fun event. I think I'm going to do picanha.
Picanha, yeah.
Now, I'm sure, Phil, that no matter what, you're going to win on at least the technical points, and yours will be the best cooked and tender. But the problem is they're going to cheat you because they're going to put a bunch of sugar on it.
Sugar.
And sugar crackheads out there. So how are you going to overcome that? You got to be able to fight the crackheads. How are we going to win that battle, Phil? We got to represent for the carnivores.
That's true.
I just tell people eat it the way it comes off the grill. It's so good.
For sure. It's so delicious.
You make things moist. If you make things moist, and like you said, low and slow when you cook it, it makes all the difference in the world.
For sure.
So good. Yeah. Hey, Janice, how do you tenderize really tough pieces of meat? 1, slowly, and 2, what is that? ASCS soon, as my grandkids get home from rock climbing. Oh, like slowly, but as soon as possible?
Oh,
probably.
If I was going to do that, I would sous vide it. Like if you wanted it ready, but you wanted it a tough piece tenderized and not dried out, I would sous vide it, but then not open the vacuum seal bag. So sous vide it, then put it in the freezer, the refrigerator, and then you can take it out. And then as soon as you heat it up in the vacuum seal bag, it's really quick. And then it's super tender and juicy. That's what I would do.
Wow. Todd, do you ever actually use a tenderizer for your meats?
Not really. I've never really tried it because I would rather either slow cook it in a crock pot, slow cook it on the smoker, or slow cook it on sous vide. But when I do those things, I batch cook for 20 pounds of meat at a time or more. So on a Sunday, I'll make 20 to even 40 pounds of meat, low and slow. But then it's ready all week long, and it's just perfect, because then you can use it all week. So
that's right.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, pulled pork can be a really tough meat, and if you slow cook it and then go ahead and pull it, put it in a vacuum bag with some of the juices, and freeze it, and then pull it out, and you heat it up. Basically, you don't even need a sous vide device. You can just get your water up to 160 and let it set in there for half an hour, and it'll make the juiciest pulled pork you've ever had.
For sure.
I made 100 pounds of it from my dad's 95th birthday.
That's awesome. Wow. You sous vide 100 pounds of it?
Yeah, I pre-cooked it all, slow cooked it in the oven.
In the oven?
For several weeks. And then the day of the event, I had big pots of water, and I would just throw the bags in there and let them warm up. And when you open them up, the pulled pork is so tender and juicy, and the flavor is incredible. I also, from my brother-in-law, who's a professional chef, told me to take chicken wings and pre-season them and put them in a vacuum pack bag and throw them in the refrigerator for 24 hours. and then do them in the air fryer. And oh my goodness, it makes all the difference in the world.
Phil, did you notice
whatever you're
that
going to put on?
did you notice that made the chicken almost taste like teriyaki chicken once you do that?
Well, I did pork. I did pork, but you could do shredded chicken.
Oh, I got you. Because I did that once. I would take chicken breasts and actually I was taking chicken thighs, and I pre-seasoned them. This one I was on keto, but I was doing sous vide cooking on keto.
Oh, you're talking about the wings?
Yeah.
Oh, the wings. Yeah. No, for me, I made them salt and garlic on one batch and lemon pepper, just lemon pepper on the other. And oh, they were so good. They were like they were done in, lemon juice and butter.
Yeah.
I didn't put any liquid on it. It was just all dry.
Well, if you take, so you ever gone to like, just any Chinese restaurant or like, what do you call those, hibachi grills where they do the teriyaki chicken, and it's got a texture that I've never been able to make chicken taste like before. It's got kind of a different toothier texture that comes with the teriyaki. Well, I accidentally nailed that when I was sous vide cooking because I used to meal prep, and so I'd vacuum seal everything ahead of time. Well, then I started seasoning everything and I'd vacuum seal it. And when you put a bunch of salt on chicken thighs and then you vacuum seal it and you leave it sit for a week and it brines in the salt, that's how it gets like that. And so I cooked all this chicken thigh a week later and chopped it up, and it all tasted like teriyaki chicken, and it had that same texture that teriyaki chicken has. It was the craziest thing. I was like, that's how they do that. That was so crazy.
Yeah.
Yum.
Yeah, it's amazing when meat, you cook meat, slow cook it and then let it set.
Yeah.
And freeze it in freezer bags and then warm it up using a sous vide method. It's incredible, the flavor in the meat. It's very inexpensive. I mean, I picked up a boneless leg of lamb at Costco today for $4.99 a pound.
Yeah.
And
my favorite.
I can't. I'll be having that tomorrow. Tonight I made lamb chops and wild caught salmon. Had a little surf and turf, and it was just delicious.
Sounds great.
All these hot tips, man.
Oh, Todd, I think you missed this.
Oh, I did.
Let's do this for you. You can answer it actually. So, hi NJ. My husband likes to sous vide our beef meat at around 140 degrees for 48 hours. Any thoughts on cooking for that length of time?
140 degrees for 48 hours. I cook my brisket at 84 hours. So there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you can cook.
A long time. Wow.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Let's see. My husband likes to sous vide our beef meat around. Yeah, no, I think that's completely fine. I do. I'll do like 22 pounds of beef brisket for 84 hours at 153 degrees. And it's fantastic. It gives it a whole different texture and a whole different feel. That's one thing. That's why I was asking Phil. I thought that he might have made that 100 pounds of pulled pork in a sous vide. One of my favorite things about a sous vide is you can take one submersible sous vide pump and get the largest vat. So I would go get the Rubbermaid. Like, you don't have to buy the expensive sous vide containers. I go buy those giant Rubbermaid containers that cost like $10 and they're like 20, 30, 40 gallons. And I fill those up with water. And then I, like, one Christmas, I put 8 4-bone prime ribs in one tank of water.
Wow.
And I sous vide 8 4-bone prime ribs with one submersible pump. It took 2 days, but it was the best prime rib, and nobody could believe it because I made 8 4-bone prime ribs all at once. And there's nothing easier. You put that thing on the kitchen island, put the submersible pump in it. You just cut a hole in the top of the lid, put the lid on. You do have to add some water when you sous vide that long because the water evaporates out, but they do if you get a good lid. And then a lot of times they'll try to float, but I bought these stainless steel chain meshes that lay over all the meats and it weights it down, and it works fantastic. So you can cook 100 pounds of meat in one container and just leave it there and it's all ready to go. It's fantastic. But yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And then you take that brisket, sous vide it for 84 hours, and then go cold smoke it on the smoker for, like 6 to 10 hours. And you got the best of both worlds. You got a bark and you got the most tender brisket you ever had in your life. It's awesome.
You're going to need to stop because I'm going to be drooling at this point. My stomach is grumbling.
Tasty.
Whew. So good. Nice.
Let's go up here.
Well,
Hi,
it's
Dawn.
funny.
Go ahead, Phil.
In the chat, someone's asking, how do you overcome being bored of eating beef every day?
I mean, maybe they just need to improve their cooking.
Listen, would you rather have an 84-hour slow cooked prime rib that's been cold smoked for 6 hours or a freaking Pop-Tart because it's different, It's like that's what literally makes me laugh when people are like, your diet's so restricted. I'm having a rice cake. Like, who cares? Have your stupid rice cake. Have you ever had smoked prime rib?
Goodness.
We're eating like kings and queens over here. I'm super blessed.
We are. Yeah. And honestly,
really
even if it's ground beef, if you just cook ground beef in a creative way, it is a luxurious meal. Meat is just a luxury. It really is.
Sure.
It's a gift.
I love ground beef and then crack some eggs over it and cook it. Oh my goodness. It is the best thing in the morning. Scrambled eggs with ground beef in it. It's just unbelievably good. You add bacon, it's even better.
Yeah, you know what I've been doing lately is I take New York steaks and I cook them in the air fryer or I smoke them, but I'll make like 4 of them, and then I fry up usually like 2 pounds of sausage, and then I fry up 2 pounds of bacon, and I fry out 2 pounds of hamburger, and I put it in a giant bowl, and I mix it all up, and then every morning for breakfast, I've been cooking like 8 to 12 eggs and taking just a handful of that meat mixture out and making a meat omelet with ground beef, diced up rib, New York strip steak, bacon and sausage, and it's the best thing ever. I mean, it's so good. It's like I don't know why this isn't on a restaurant menu. This is the tastiest like scramble bowl I've ever had. So good.
Wow. I am so hungry now. You have no idea.
Well, we only got 36 more questions.
Well, I mean,
we're at 3 hours, Bella. So
dang it!
No,
we're getting fined now.
Yeah. So just a heads up, I will need to wrap up soon because, like, seriously, I have to eat. I'm pretty starving after hearing you guys talk about those things. But also, to be polite to all the guests here, 3+ hours is a bit. It's a bit long. So thank you guys for all the questions. We will do a handful more, and then we'll resume next week. So do come back next week. By the way, Todd, next week we'll do it on Thursday if that works for you. Just because I'll be on the cruise.
Yeah. Sounds good. That'll work.
All right. So next week we'll be on Thursday night. Just a heads up. Okay, Dawn.
Awesome.
All right. So this is for you, Todd, and everyone, but Todd can take it. How much iodine should I supplement with? 36 years old, male, currently taking 5 drops of Lugol's 2% per day. Thanks.
All right. I don't know how much you should supplement with. I supplement with 50 milligrams of 5% a day, which is 20 drops. However, I know the Phil will give you a much better answer than I will. So I'm passing that one to Phil.
What are your thoughts, Phil?
Well, I just go with what Dr. Brownstein talks about in his book on iodine. And he recommends supplementing, if you're going to supplement, to work your way up to 25 milligrams. And what is that? Is that 10 drops of 2%? I think. I always have to look it up. If you Google
How
it.
many? 2% is 50 drops. Oh, sorry, 10%. Sorry, it's 1 milligram per drop of 2%.
So anyway, I can't memorize all this in my head. There are free Lugol calculators on the internet. You just go in, start with 25 milligrams. I think you went to 50 milligrams, right, Todd?
Yeah. Yes, I am at 50 milligrams. If you said 25 milligrams at 2%, that is 25 drops. At 5%, it's 12.5 drops.
Yeah, that seems like too many drops to me, Todd. But So
I'm 100% certain that 2% is 1 milligram per drop.
okay. Well, I encourage people to get the calculator, and you don't start and hit 25 the first day. You start very low, and if you have thyroid issues, start even slower.
For certain. Yeah, I started at 3, then went to 6, and then I went to 12, then I went to 25, and then I went to 50. And I did it about 3 days apart, but Phil's way of doing it about a week apart, I think, would be better at just adding a drop or two a week, is what you said, right, Phil?
Yeah, and if you're have Hashimoto's, you gotta put a drop in some, like a quarter cup of water, and then take about a drop full of that solution every day. That dilute solution every day till you use up the quarter cup before you even start with 1 drop a day. So you got to start really, really low if you have Hashimoto's.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
All right. Hi, Thomas. Todd, do you think you being so knowledgeable is from Carnivore, or are you a robot under your hat?
Yes, this hat is hiding a Tesla Neuralink. No, I wish I was that smart. No, it's actually just from, like, what I'm saying is, 1, Carnivore has improved my memory. That's for certain. And 2, if you spend a lot of time in like SBG around other carnivores, you just all these little puzzle pieces, you start putting it together. And I'm telling you, this is nothing for everybody to pick up the same amount of information, and then you can go help everybody else. I'm not right all the time by any means, but this is how I see things. And the more that I do this, all the puzzle pieces fit together, and it's another tool in the toolbox that helps me stay carnivore and fix things every day. And that's what we all pick up in SBG. It doesn't have to be SBG. It can be any carnivore community, but I am pretty biased. I've been to a lot of them, and I think SBG is the best one. I'm just throwing that out there.
You might be biased, though.
Nothing biased.
I'm just kidding. No, it really is great.
Completely impartial.
Awesome. Hey, Terry, welcome. I use kefir for allergy. Kefir plain, 3.25% milk fat, 1 glass before going to bed. No allergies, no more. Full glass fix the allergy. Okay. So this is when we were talking about allergies earlier in the live. And this is Terry's tried and true tip that fixed his allergies. That's super cool. Hey,
that's
I
awesome.
drink it every day too. My nose is clear, so maybe it does work.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Hi, Alex. Welcome. I'm on the last day of week 2 on carnivore. Congratulations. Haven't lost a gram, though my scale says my body fat is lower. I've been drinking Coke Zero and having a few sugar-free gummies. Is that a setback? Take that, Todd.
I think so. I think 100%. And here's why. I think absolutely all those things, and then the caffeine and artificial sweeteners, it keeps you from having true freedom from the sweet taste. And you'll never, if you have an eating disorder or a sugar addiction or a carb addiction, or you're addicted to hyper palatable foods, I don't think you can truly get the freedom from it that, completely free, or at least the maximum amount of freedom that you can have without getting away from all those artificial sweeteners. Plus, it covers up your true hunger signals. And so you use those, you start drinking diet sodas and stuff, and when you should be eating meat, and you start filling up on those things, so you don't even get nourished correctly, and you're just not getting as healthy and as free from all the disordered eating as you could be, and it's really not worth it. Like, you would be surprised. And I know, honestly, diet sodas were the worst addiction I had, and I'm talking over a gambling addiction, over nicotine addiction, everything. The diet sodas were by far the worst addiction I had, and I still beat it in about 5.5 to 6 weeks of doing eating through it on carnivore. And I've never been more free from anything in my life. And it's just, man, I just can't tell you, when the first thing that comes to your mind is you get anxious about doing carnivore, if the thought of giving X, Y, and Z up, it's a real, I didn't realize it before, but when that thing pops in your head, goes, well, I would do carnivore, but I could never give up X, Y, or Z. for sure you have an addiction. Because, would you say, like, if you change that to anything else, would you go, I would do carnivore, but I could never stop wearing my favorite red shirt, right? You would never say something like that. And if you did, people would think you're insane. But everybody understands when you say, I couldn't give up my diet soda or my coffee or whatever, because everybody knows what it's like to be addicted to sugar. Everybody knows what it's like to be addicted to sugar, and nobody thinks you're crazy for saying that because it is so addictive. But that is the thing that you are a slave to, and it is so much better to be free from it. I got to tell you, it really is. So you owe it to yourself to try it, and you can get over it. So
Yes. Amazing. Listen to Todd, Alex. Keep us posted. Hey, Mike. Oh, I love how we have a lot of gentlemen tonight. I love it. More gentlemen on these live streams, please. Great.
representing the
Hey, Mike,
dude.
welcome. Yeah. So this is for you, Todd. Hi, Todd. I learned about your channel by seeing your comment on a video about Chuck Roll. I subscribed and learning a lot already. Lots of great info. Yay.
So I love this
Awesome.
comment. I was actually waiting to get to this. So this is really funny that this video went viral, and I'm the top comment on this video, and it was like a year ago. But this comment, I just put my story in there because this is when I was new at YouTube and I had like 3 subscribers. So I go around to the big carnivore videos and I would comment on them and people would follow me. Yeah, this video particularly, I have the top comment on there and it went nuts. There's like over 6,000 replies to my comment alone on there. And it's pretty crazy. But I wanted to get to this because it's funny, because the number one response, because this is a butcher channel, it's not a carnivore channel. So it's got
Butcher Wizard.
Yeah, it is. And so he did this one on how to break down a chuck roll, right? And that video went viral and got like 1 million some views or whatever. And so it's funny to see the public that's not in the carnivore world reacting to my story about losing a lot of weight and the symptoms I healed up. And yeah, most of them think I'm lying. Most of them think I'm not real. Most of them have all these really strong opinions about. But one of the funniest things that I want to address, because I've been waiting for a time to address this, is that I don't know, like probably 20% of the comments say it's not carnivore that was successful for you. It's the fact that you stopped eating, the processed foods and you started eating whole foods. And I'm like, do you think that I got to 715 pounds at the age of 39 and never tried a diet before the carnivore? Do you think that's what it is? Do you really think that I never tried to eat whole foods before or tried a calorie restrictive diet? The whole point, you are literally making my point that yes, carnivore is helping me because I'm not eating all that garbage, and it is helping me because I'm eating whole foods, but it's the only diet that healed my eating disorders, that freed me from addiction, that allowed me to not eat the processed foods and allowed me to stick to a whole food diet. That is literally the whole point. So it's so funny that you would just come in there and think you're saying something to tell me that I'm only successful because of what I'm not eating. And that means that you think that I never tried any other diet. I dieted every diet for 26 years. I've lost over 1,000 pounds in my life and gained it back. I have tried every diet. This is not like, I'm not winging it. I'm not guessing. I didn't just try my first diet and slipped into carnivore and got all successful and lost 320 pounds. You're out of your mind. Yeah, I've been waiting to say that for a while.
Glad to get that off your chest, Todd.
We should extract all of that, your rant, and post it as a YouTube video. Your response.
I'm on it because it's just so funny. That comes in like every 5 days now. Somebody will be like, dude, just so you know, you should add some veggies in because you're not losing weight because of carnivore. You're actually losing weight because you got rid of the processed foods and you're on a whole food diet. It's like, whatever, Pacholi boy, get off me.
Honestly, that we're just all indoctrinated. We all were taught the same thing, the food pyramid, and they don't know that the food pyramid and a balanced, quote unquote, balanced diet comes from a lot of studies that are just fraudulent in nature. And also, like, if anyone, oh my gosh, you got me fired up, and I was falling asleep earlier because I've been up since 5 a.m. But this is so much fun, Todd. Keep being you. Keep showing them.
Yeah.
For
Oh my
sure.
gosh,
Yeah.
Ellie, I don't want you to fall asleep. And thank you so
I'm
much
just
for
kidding.
spending
I
3
was
hours
kidding.
with us. No, no,
I
no.
was
We're
kidding about
grateful.
falling asleep. No, I honestly, this has been so much fun. And I'm just
Good.
like super honored. And I don't know why you asked me to come on, but I really, really
Because
appreciate
you're
it.
great and we love you. That's why.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Amazing.
All right. Just so I don't keep
Yep.
putting them up here, how many more do you want to answer?
One more. Let's do one more and we'll wrap up.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect. By the way, before I get to this one, hi Bev. So when I was listening to Todd talk just now, I think firstly, Todd always has the best raw, unfiltered thoughts. And I think this is a really great time to talk about Rumble because Todd has been urging me to go to Rumble for like a long time, and I have yet to just do it. It's been on my to-do list for months, but Todd has a Rumble, and Todd should
sure.
shout out his Rumble.
Yes, please come over to Rumble because as soon as we get enough people, we're going to start going live on there where we could stop being tethered, because I definitely don't say 90% of what I want to say because I get hard blind community strikes. And because, I think YouTube hates one, actual humor, and two, actual, truth. They seem to hate it. So, and I only get one more hard strike and then I have to start a new channel. So,
No, that would be awful.
That's fine.
so in order to save my channel from having to start back for the last 15 months, we're going to start doing it on Rumble. Where hopefully if Rumble gets big enough, YouTube will have to stop being a bunch of gatekeepers of free speech, and I will stop saying that because we're on YouTube. But anyway, that's can you feel me getting demonetized? But that's my opinion on it.
So Todd's link to Rumble is in the description box. It's actually in the description of every single Friday night live stream. So check it out, guys. And I'll make my way over as well. Let us know if you guys are on Rumble too. How do you guys like it? Put it in the chat and in the comments.
Awesome. You can also follow me on X. They also let us speak on X too. So.
Oh, nice. That too, also linked.
Awesome.
That works.
Cool. Okay, Bev, you're the last question. Thank you so much for the question. What exactly is oxalates? Phil, do you want to take this?
Oh, I am so bored with oxalates.
Aren't
Can
we
you guys
all?
hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you.
Where do I take this? So oxalates is an anion in your blood that is deposited along with all kinds of things. Can cause kidney stones, gallstones, and when people go on carnivore, they have a lot of oxalate load in their body from basically plant-based diet, because plants like spinach, for instance, has a lot of oxalates in it. Pepper, lemons, just about everything from the plant world has some oxalates in it. And when you first go carnivore, your body wants to clean out the oxalates. And so people get all kinds of weird symptoms because they get skin rashes, gritty stuff in your eyes. You can get kidney stones. You can get gallstones. You can get nasal congestion, tons and tons of stuff. And who's the lady that does the book on oxalates, Bella?
Yeah, Sally
Sally
Norton. Yes.
Norton. That's, yeah. Because I think a lot of excretion of waste products in our bodies, people just use the term oxalates. And I think we're getting rid of other stuff in our body. And not everything is oxalate. So that's why I'm being a little flippant with it, because we have all kinds of detoxing going on in our body. When we get rid of all the processed foods, we start to break down visceral fat and all the things that are stored chemically in our fat through our lifetimes. And oxalates are one of those, histamine's one of those, but there's probably lots of other old metabolites and broken down cells that we excrete too. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've
Right.
been spending the last 8 weeks excreting some like 1994 Taco Bell.
yeah.
Pretty certain. I have
Well,
not
you had a
done-
whole week of renal colic, kidney
Yeah.
stones,
Yeah, that
what we
was
call kidney gravel that came out, and those are
That
probably
was-
oxalate stones. Yeah.
okay. Well, that'll be a week I never
Ouch.
forget for certain.
Oh my god.
Made me. I heard Joe Rogan make a joke, and I don't know if this is going to be too much for the YouTube crowd, but he made a joke that made me really think about the kidney stones. I really appreciate it. After that, he goes, "If babies were born through men's penises, there'd be 6 of us." I was laughing so hard. Oh,
There wouldn't be that many. There wouldn't be that many.
Exactly. I was like, you
That's
guys
an overstatement.
I did not want to imagine
exactly. I was laughing so hard though, because that was right after I had passed the 3 kidney stones. He was like, "They come out men's penises, there'd be 6 of us." That's a fact. Let's see. Yeah, well, that's a perfect place to end it, I think.
That was great.
Absolutely perfect. Flawless. Well done, team. Okay. Well, now we can transition slowly into any special announcements. I have a few. I saw that Thomas put in the live chat that Carrie has his live streams on Thursday. So we definitely don't want to clash there. Todd, do you know what time they do it?
They usually do it at 5 to 7, I think, Mountain Time.
Okay.
But
I'll see what we can schedule.
But could we do it Wednesday or Sunday instead?
Yeah, so once I'm on the cruise, I just cannot promise if I'll have good
Oh,
Wi-Fi.
that's right. How about Wednesday? Does
Yeah.
Wednesday work?
Of course, I can make Wednesday work.
Let's do Wednesday.
Yeah. Let's do Wednesday. Okay, guys. So instead of Thursday, just next week, okay? Wednesday night, expect to see us back for a live stream. And the other thing was the Carnivore cruise that I'm going to be on is Dr. Wiedemann's Carb Sober Cruise. So if anyone's going to be on that cruise, put it in the chat. Cannot wait to hang out with you. And then after the cruise, there's going to be an awesome carnivore meetup. So this is, you can get tickets to any time. You just have to go to kiltzmeetup.com for that one. So KILTZ meetup.com, and you can go ahead and get your tickets. Can't wait to meet you if you go to that one. Todd, are you coming?
The cruise?
The meetup.
Oh, the meetup.
No, not the cruise.
Oh,
Yeah.
I won't know until the end of this week. So this this end of this next week. I'm trying to come, but I have a ridiculous amount of work on my desk right now that I'm trying to get through. And so, but I think it's 50-50 right now. But by the end of next week, I'll know more for sure. And I think there's at least a 50% chance I'm going to make it.
Oh my gosh. Yay.
That's awesome.
Why? We're still live, by the way. Did you want to say hi? So he's so shy when we're live. Why is he so shy? Otherwise,
Max,
he would have come.
Put your handsome butt over here, Max.
I know. No,
Hey,
he's not
Max.
coming. He's too shy.
Max, don't be a chicken. You're a carnivore.
We eat
Yeah.
chicken.
We eat chickens, yeah. So Phil is not going to be at the Tampa meetup, unfortunately. I'll see you next time, Phil. I'm still so sad about that. But
I can't believe
what-
you're coming to Tampa
Yeah.
and I'll be out of the
I
town.
know.
I mean, what a
I
bummer.
know. Sucks. But Phil, do you want to talk about Hack Your Health?
Yeah, we can talk about, make sure you sign up for Hack Your Health. It's in November in Tampa at the Tampa Convention Center.
Yay.
Use the discount code Carnivore, all caps, for a $100 discount. So sign up now. You get a great discounts. It only gets more expensive if you hesitate. And
That's
Tampa
right.
in November is wonderful, unless we have a hurricane.
Yes. That's so
Let's hope
true.
not, then. And Ellie, I want to give you an opportunity to announce anything. I know you will be at the Tampa meetup, so I can't wait to give you a big hug. But anything you want to announce and plug, go ahead.
Oh, thanks so much. So this is, like I said earlier, this has been such a fun experience. I was totally kidding about falling asleep earlier. I seriously am like, I was shaking the whole time. So hopefully I wasn't talking too fast. But feel free to come over to my channel. It's Nourishment Redacted. It's where I share my health journey for my heart, body, mind, and soul. I want to post more about being a carnivore mom because I'm so passionate about raising the next generation and hoping that they don't grow up to be sick. If I did see some questions about like carnivore pregnancy and stuff like that, I do have I have a podcast on there called Mother Knows Best, where I invite low carb, meat-based mothers to come on and they share their experience about raising kids on the proper human diet. And then I also have a second channel called At Lioness Lifestyle, where it's a show focused on women sharing their story every single Tuesday night. We have Adrienne K. Gledhill and Christy from Meeting Wellness. And it's a lot of fun to come on and just celebrate healing. And so I hope to see you over there. And Bella, you should totally come on Lioness. I think you'd be awesome.
Oh, I would love to. Thank you for the invite. Awesome. Thank you all for joining our live stream tonight. Great chats, great conversations in the live chat that I saw as well. Come back next week, Wednesday night, just next week. And Ellie's 2 channels are linked down below in the description box. Thank you all. Love you guys. Have a great weekend.
Bye.